Oh my goodness, summer's over. GPVWC is back with Formula Sprint 1 action. It's the 12th round of the FS1 campaign. The prizes will be handed out in 8 weeks' time, and the stakes have never been higher. We're here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, and it's been a long time since I've been here, but I'm delighted to return to the broadcast. It's Eoin, Harmon and Amir Oates in the commentary booth this evening. Amir, how have you been keeping?
Thank you very much. Been very exciting. It's been very, very long, as you said, during the summer break. Put the whole momentum through on shift from what we've seen back in a very exciting Hungaroring. We continue on forward here to round 12 of the Formula Sprint 1 season here in 2025. It's now the last gasp, as you said, towards the awards only about 8 weeks' time. Continue on here from Monza, going over through to Mexico City as well, and then over and through, returning back to the street circuits at Singapore, and then afterwards concluding over through at Interlagos and Abu Dhabi. This is going to be the one that's going to kickstart the momentum, and we could see some very strong championship pursuits on going forth here, especially when we look at the standings.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll take a look at those right now. And the championship, since I was last here, has turned on its head somewhat as Pavel Andrzejewski has turned around that massive deficit he was facing against his teammate Mateusz Majka. As you can see from certainly from the last round in Hungary, he managed to claw back 28 points on his teammate after he had some very difficult times back in round 7 and again in round 9. So that has made things very interesting. But we can't rule out Jassi Latinen either. He's been absolutely superb. One of the drivers of the summer for sure, picking up 40 points last time out and then 41 as well, heading through the Spa round. He was absolutely brilliant there, picking up several honours. Frank Hamming not here this evening unless something changes last minute, so he may be out of the proceedings for the season. But yeah, it's been fabulous in the midfield as well. We've got Tylene, Taras all looking good, and Patrick Roszak and Scott Flack have all been in excellent form as well, Amir. So yeah, don't rule out those guys either, because Monza does bring out a little bit of the equality, I think, compared to other tracks.
Indeed, could be seen as upset as well, given that Monza is high downforce, high action, kind of the contrary to what we've seen in Hungary. But Hungary at least developed a first race winner here in FS1 in the form of Scott Flack, who's just now into the top 10 and more or less cemented there. So there's a chance we could see a Scott Flack-esque magic run here in Italy, especially we've got some new drivers as well through the field, and they're looking pretty strong.
Yeah, we've got a great balance between newcomers and some experienced heads who are back in GPV contention. Someone that immediately was spotted by our YouTube chat was a previous veteran in he had a few rounds in Super League and one season in FS1. It's Luca D'Amelio. He's back in action at home here in Italy. So Pixlite picked up a very strong signing here for the home round, as of course he's driving the 36, I think, so Massimiliano Reboli, or sorry, the 98, beg pardon. So he's in the 98 car, taking that spot for the day, and maybe he'll be here for the remainder of the season. I'm not exactly sure just yet, but considering he was very quick in practice, he hasn't missed a beat.
Indeed, one of the stronger Italian runners as well. Don't forget David Zanini. He himself has broken into the top 10 as well. Going to see for Reboli, El Sorlinen, Scarpelli, just a ton of Decutis as well. Both of the Team Sheba drivers, in fact. So there's going to be a lot of Italians looking to prove their ground here at Monza, especially whenever you've got the home down to your favor. It also gives you just a little bit that much pressure as well, but I think it gives you quite a confidence boost if you're driving in a track that you know on the back of your hand, as we've seen with these Italians before. But here we go. Luca's going to go on for his first flying lap.
Absolutely through the Curva Grande now, and it'll be his second hard braking point of the lap. We will see plenty of purples, though, as everyone still needs to set their own personal times to begin with. Oh, a little bit wide there at the Della Roggia, but now the Lesmo's coming up. This is really where your lap, it's make or break situation here. If you've gone too wide, you'll be in the gravel, and that's the end of your attempt, so you have to start again. But Luca, so far, looking pretty strong. So Pixlite mid-table team so far this campaign, trying to compete with the likes of 100 to 1, MS Performance, Hyperion, and Team Iris, for example. So yeah, this is really important to pick up as many points as possible. Cloudy skies at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse than that, but at the moment everyone is safe to run slicks, and we should be expecting target times in the low 120s or perhaps high 120s into the 130s. So here we go, full power using that push to pass. And Luca will try his best to get this home crowd bounce, and he cuts as close to the inside bar as he can, and it's a 127.8. Beating out the championship leader, Mateusz Majka, but Paweł Andrzejewski has responded there with a 1 minute 27.7, and that leaves it a Malta Force, Pixelate Malta Force top 3.
Very close though for Andrzejewski, about 9 hundredths from we can see there. For storming left for Andrzejewski for D'Amelio as well, against to his form, which hasn't competed in GPVWC since 2020. Really setting the field alight here with second. Mateusz Majka, current championship leader that needs to try and master every point he possibly can, is in third.
Yeah, not the end of the world here at Monza, to be honest. You have the slipstream battles prevalent here. We haven't seen a push-to-pass era event here at Monza just yet, so this will be the first since DRS has been taken away from the FS1 cars. We're on board here with the gorgeous new livery to celebrate Apex Grand Prix home event here. So we're on board with Oliver Tars, and we'll see a bit more of their pizza pasta power beast to see how it gets on. Now we're just through the Ascari complex heading into Parabolica. At the moment he is of course going to be green as he has no time on the board just yet, Oliver. And through Parabolica's got to be very patient, wait for his moment to strike it now. All the way to the line. He's fleeing the 127s here, but how good is it going to be? Oh, he's just missed actually 128.2. So that's a third row start just behind Scott Flack. Well, that's Milan Raboli. I was just saying he was, the car that is still here for Pixelate. So he's got his teammate Luca to work with now, and he's got himself a home boost in P5, Amir.
Absolutely, and the good thing as well is that Pixelate's now 2 and 5 can facilitate them a lot during the race as we continue on. Also, Apex Grand Prix 4th and 7th as a standard Multiforce. So whenever we're going to see those races, we're going to keep an eye on them to see how they'll facilitate during the race. The closer that you can get to your teammate is going to be a huge benefit. And Scott Flack, the sole one in the top 7, not affiliated with the teammate, he's just the sole overpower in that category. So he's going to have a bit of a hard time finding compared to the others.
Yeah, indeed. So we'll see how things go on. Here's Domenico Scarpelli. Yeah, another home hero here. It's an all-change lineup for HGP. Their usual drivers are absent. Frank and Vin not in attendance. So Domenico is driving the number 7, usually reserved for Vin Glenn. So we'll see if he gets on. At the moment, he's just got the banker lap set. Not really what he'd want to set. He's down in Sector 2, which is a bit of concern. That may cost him this lap unless he's very confident into Parabolica to complete the lap. So we'll see if Scarpelli has the chance to catch up to his teammate here, Christian Glamsetter. But no, he realizes what's about to happen. He just parks it for a chance to regroup and refresh. So yeah, Christian Glamsetter is in for the second car there. The Norwegian is taking over Frank Hamming. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what HGP get on. It'd be disappointing for Frank that he can't make it today, but yeah, there definitely is a battle in the unknown. I think it will be fascinating to see how they get on. But let's join Wesley Stefano for a lap, Amir.
Indeed, he's one of the 3 drivers himself, Yannick and Victor, not to have set a lap time halfway through the qualifying left to go. See what Wesley can do. I think he had to abort his first attempt too much. Goes across the line. What can he do for the MS performance? Throws up into 18th. Pretty good for himself. Maybe could be able to muster some more as we see from the 8 minutes left remaining to go. I don't think it'll rain, if I'm mistaken, if I believe. I think it's just going to be a bit cloudy. Might be a bit of rain, but I don't think it'll affect him during qualifying. Luca D'Amelio, fastest first sector.
Oh, this is promising. So let's see how he gets on through the Lesmos. And yeah, that looked pretty smooth to me with this nose cam. And it should be heading onto the bridge that has the famous banking just above him there. And it should be just about, yeah, it's another purple. So Pixelate would have something to cheer for here. The English team are running an Italian duo, so they'll get the full reward for the home crowd if they can secure one of those drivers on the provisional pole. With Paweł Andrzejewski and Mateusz Majka, they're only worried about their own inter-team battle and securing a team's championship defense from Alta Force. So here's Luca. Again, he's going to hug that inside line as best he can at 127.471, and that is brilliant from Luca. Of course, no everyone is in the private qualifying sessions. There's no ability to get a slipstream. And a response there from Pavel, I think, or was it? Yeah, it was Pavel, just a little bit closer now. But nevertheless, yeah, the competition will be very tight for the pole position here. But yeah, about 4 drivers within 6/10, so it's still all to play for, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've just seen Kiel Halsvik break into the top 10. Meadow Clunt, very impressive lap for him to displace Raboli up to the top 5 for KKR Esports. It's all kicking down here, but the amazing thing about Luca D'Amelio's time is that 2/10 clear of the... So I thought I see... Oh, my bad. I thought Micah's dropped off from the top 3, I think.
Yeah, did his lap get deleted or something? That's an unusual one. Oh, he's left the server. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, hopefully Race Direction have note of his time if he does come back. That should be validated if he can return to the server. Menno Klant, I have to say something positive about him because he's got himself into 4th now as a result of the dropout there of Matthews. His teammate is on screen right now, Lucas Tylien, the super Swede. He's definitely capable of excellent drives. I have to check the archive for last season. But yeah, since I've been gone, it's not been a glorious campaign for Lucas. He's been picking up points more often than not since he won in the British Grand Prix before I took my leave of absence. So he's picked up regular top 10s and the top 5 plus 1 18th place. So yeah, it's been a good season for Lucas, but I'm sure with the summer break, he'll want it to be an even better one to conclude the year for KKR and himself. Here's Yassi Latinen. Again, he's the outside bet to try and enter the championship fight. 51 points back. He needs 2 wins without much of a reply from either of our Polish superstars in Multiforce to stand a chance of becoming champion, to be honest. So today will be a fantastic time for the Finnish competitor to, get some of those major points and secure himself a chance at the title with 4 rounds to go after this evening. So yeah, it is his chance to use that home field advantage for Apex GP to really say, look, it's not all about Multiforce this season. It's going to be a 3-way battle at least for our championship. Here's Raboli though. He's through Parabolica and he'll be full throttle all the way to the line. Can he get a 127? No, he can't. Yeah, I think he just missed out in the end. It is a small PB, but it doesn't actually improve his position.
Whoa.
Oliver Taras. Oh yes, that's very good. And he breaks into the second row ahead of his teammate. So Apex GP have a lockout of the second row just behind Pixelate's super sub D'Amelio and Pavel Andrzejewski, who has been on the charge, particularly since Belgium.
Absolutely, indeed. Really good, though, for Taras, at least for Latinen to facilitate him. Both going to be sharing the row as it stands. Scott Flack purple on the first sector. Think about the momentum that he's carried through, having won his first race in GPVWC and FS1 back in Hungary. Can he do anything here?
We'll watch and see. Yeah, he's going to use all that inside Apex. Let's see if he crosses the line. 128.0. That's a personal improvement, but not able to enhance his grid position. So we're waiting to see if we can get Matthews Micah back on the server, or else he'll need some sort of intervention just to say if he can join after qualifying, where will he start on the grid? We'll have to look up the regulations for that. Lorenzo Tutis, another hero.
Ooh.
Oh, that's very good. Very good here from another Italian representative to break into the top 3 there, putting Apex GP into 4th and 5th. So lovely lap there from Lorenzo. So we'll be definitely talking about Italy each and every second based on these performances from all our Italian representatives.
Yeah, 3,000 displaces from Taras to get into 3rd. Very good what Team Sheba has been doing, contrary to his teammate, just outside for the top 15. But at least it's looking pretty good for Dichutis. Has done very well. Menno Klont, his first representative lap time, broke into the top 5. Yellow on the second sector, 2/10 off. Considering anything for the 3rd sector, maybe looking for podium improvement. Maybe. He is going to commit to this lap. And he breaks into the top 5 once again. 5/10 off from pole as it stands.
Yeah, really impressive work here from Klant. I know that ending to the German Grand Prix was one of the highlights of the entire season. I know Menno seems to have that playbook where every time he does well, it's a moment to put into your catalogues for all time. But yeah, there's a look at Christian Glamsetter getting 20th position on the grid there. Not too shabby, improving from 23rd position up to 20th. Now, Tylene, he really does want to get an improvement. We're under 2 minutes to go in the session. You can get out on circuit one last time and get an out lap, a hot lap, and then you're in lap complete. So Lucas Tylene knows this is the real pressure situation. If he's going to commit to this lap, he'll need really another drip of fuel to make sure he can do a second lap, or else he'll be stuck where he ever qualifies. So here we go down to the back straight past Ascari. And one more corner to go for Tylene. He really does need to get somewhere in the top 15 to give KKR Sports a double shot at points. Realistically, here he goes to the Parabolica. That looks nice. Uses a typical technique to hug the inside. That's a big improvement, But it's only 15th at 128.4. That's 9/10 of a second slower than the pole sitter Clant. No improvement that time at 128.0.
At least with Thailand and Clontas, if they have enough push to pass, able to go for again. Yasalana was in the top 3, down to 7. That's how much has improved. He can't improve in Apex Grand Prix, but I think he might be able to go again.
Yeah, you should be able to go again with the correct fuel load and the balance of tire preservation at the start of your out lap.
Micah's back.
Here's Micah's back, so he's allowed to reclaim his 3rd position on the grid. So that's all well and good, but yeah, it'll be a bit odd because he's missed out an entire cycle as the track evolves that little bit more. So it's at the peak of its conditions for qualifying. And now here we go. One last chance for Matthews to set a time worthy of pole position. Can anyone stop Luca D'Amelio?
That's going to be very problematic. We'll see. Qualifying is over, but almost seems to be inevitable. The thing with Micah losing a bit of that time is that the track's not going to be in its optimal conditions, though. Heading through turn 3 now. Mike has to give it his all if he wants to have any chance of catching another pole position to his career so far.
Take a look through Della Roggia. He's down 1.5 tenths through the first sector. Not the end of the world because it is a high-speed section of the track with one hard braking zone. Through the Lesmos, 1 and now 2. You think number 2 should be a doddle when you've just had something similar, but it is very misleading at times. So let's get the run down through the oval section just above the heads, heading towards 60 seconds of lap time. He is up, so it's not quite an improvement. Like, he will be just shy of his best time with 1/10 in a green section there. So if he can find another 1/10 of a second, he can get very close to Pavel. But it has to be a very, very impressive Parabolica sequence for Matthews to improve his grid slot and overtake his teammate to give himself the best chance of preserving that championship lead. Here he comes. 1 minute 27.4 is the target. Oh my goodness, it's an improvement, but not able to beat his teammate Pavel in the end. And Scott Flack improves dramatically from 10th to 4th, Amir. So that's the man in form as well. Scott Flack, he ended the summer window with the victory, and now he's got himself into 4th. And there's only 1 or 2 last contenders to go. It is Pavel. He's got the last opportunity of all. Can he
did too much of a mistake for the second sector? He can't.
Yeah, he's made a mistake. Yeah, he has made a mistake.
But it was looking super strong for Pavel, almost looking to rival Luca if it wasn't for that mistake. Really showed it, giving it his all. But the best that Multiforce can do is 2nd and 3rd. And incredible from Luca D'Amelio upon his return here to GPVWC to clinch pole position here in his home race.
An outstanding job, Amir, no doubt about it. So D'Amelio picks a chance at a fantastic victory with an Italian-led driver pairing. So is his very first pole position in GPWC. He has a name or a listed victory at Germany 6 years ago. So what a drive that is. So Pavel Andrzejewski, Matthews, Micah, Scott Flack, and Lorenzo De Ciutis are the top 5 behind the pole sitter. We have Taras, Klunt, Raboli, Latinen, and Saracino in the top 10. So Italians up and down the field there, very impressive. But in the top 15 battle, it's led in 11th by Patrick Roszak. We've Michael Falkenhayn, then Owen Kvilhausvik, Matthews Gazowski, and Lucas Tylene. 16th is Matthew Sabinski, with Tun Luer 17th, Raymond van Soest 18th, Davide Zanini 19th, and Matthews Dabrowski completing our top 20. And the 28 car grid as things stand, so it's Christian Glamstetter in 21st, with Wesley Stefano, Philip Koenig, Jesper Eriksson, Domenico Scarpelli, Alex Gonzalez-Green, Marcus Christensen, and then Yannick Kleiss getting 28th position there for Team Iris. So there we go, that's our grid. Amir, I don't know of any penalties for the round to be served, but if we are in need of penalising anybody, we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, as we've said, really dramatic qualifying. We've seen probably one of the most intense that we've had in this series thus far. And, well, it's been very effective for D'Amelio. Andrew Jitski, at least on his 8-point gap between himself and Micah, can get the best that he can probably ask for, which is to be ahead of his rival and teammate in Micah. I feel like Micah lost out just precious minutes from having a server disconnect, and as a result, the track was less up to grip in comparison to the others. I think Yasser Latinen as well in his final run did a representative lap time, I think, because it's about 9/10 away from Raboli in 8th, and he was very strong looking into the top 5, so he's also got a lot of groundwork to do in that Apex Grand Prix car. And also, speaking of which, Apex Grand Prix is also what we're going to be able to talk about as well during today's warm-up.
Yeah, for sure. I suppose just before we do, I just want to pay tribute to everybody who ran the broadcasts while I was away watching my St. Patrick's Athletic football team give a mighty good go in Europe. Before we lost to Besiktas, unfortunately, but that's the way. They're a much better team, so we have to grin and move on. So for the round in Germany, it was Ed Hunter and Alex Hallows with Fabian Jungblut on cameras that time, so I really appreciate their efforts. Alex, I know, has departed the media team for the time being, so I hope their situation is going according to plan since their departure. So thank you very much, Alex and Ed. Ed was back as well for the round in Spa with Carlos, with Remco there on cameras, and then it was yourself, Amir, and Carlos working the last time out in Hungary. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I don't need to make you blush. Sorry, I don't need to make you blush, but normally I don't like missing 3 rounds in a row. 2 is probably my maximum, so thank you all so much. Carlos Martin, of course, helped out on the previous 2 rounds. And now the pairing, Amir and Eoin, is back, and we can now give Apex GP their props. They've made the extra special effort here to design an absolutely spectacular livery. I really do enjoy this Alfa Romeo. I think in my estimation, it's inspired a bit by the Alfa Romeos of the 2020s. It looks absolutely dashing, and I can't wait to see how the lads get it tuned up for the race itself. Winning has certainly been a priority for them this campaign, where Multiforce, they've been hoovering up a lot of the winners' trophies, but of course, going back to Belgium, race 1, Yassi was really impressive there. Oliver got 1 win back in Saudi Arabia, so they are pretty good in race 1 trim, Amir, but it's certainly race 2 where they can pick up podiums on a regular basis, and they need to keep that up if they want to stand any chance of finishing second after overtaking Team Sheba in the last couple of rounds, and maybe just give Multiforce a bit of competition.
Indeed, Multiforce and Apex Grand Prix are actually the only ones throughout the entire season thus far to still field in their 2 main drivers. So Micah Andrzejczyk and Oliver Taras and Hasse Latinen have been committed towards the full season. That in itself does pay pretty huge dividends to Apex. It means that their setup is just tailored towards just only those 2 drivers with their driving styles, and it's also paid off pretty good. Hasse Latinen running aboard with them now, been best of the rest whenever Multiforce seemed a bit untouchable. Hasse Latinen was always one of the first drivers to be able to pick a fight and sometimes even beat the Multiforce, sometimes even in situations whenever seemed advantaged for Multiforce. The Finnish driver has always managed to deliver, and you can see it with his rap sheet as well. 3 race wins, which is honestly very remarkable for the Finnish driver. He's also been trying to eye for more, but I think he's done pretty good though thus far this summer. As previous rounds in Spa, first place, fifth place, double podium in Hungary, when it's notoriously difficult to overtake. He managed to overtake en route to third, so it's been very good for Yassi himself. Oliver Tavares, he himself has got his dream win in Saudi Arabia, as we see someone crash in the background, a flip. Oh dear.
Oh no.
And second place as well, Jeddah for Oliver Tavares, but hasn't really got the podium since, up until his third place in Hungary, which has set his momentum back into light, and he's capped it off now by sixth place, which is very good, challenging up for the field up front, and again bringing that Italian outfit in full course. And it's looking very promising, actually, for Apex Grand Prix. If this momentum still continues on stands, they'll more than comfortably get second place. But Jesse Latinen is going to be there to pick up the pieces if Pavel or Matthias can have fierce fighting throughout the races, and it's possible that that might happen because of the amount of rounds we have left to go. Again, Italy is high downforce, so he's going to benefit a lot from the slipstream, maybe gain some positions. Mexico, very high altitude, sort of similar to Italy in some ways, especially with one of the longest straights we have on the calendar. Singapore, very notorious and very challenging if one of them can keep it clean, as you see with Taurus to his route in Jeddah. Latinen and Taurus will be there to pick up for the pieces if Multiforce have an off day. And then going through to Brazil, always a fan favorite. It's probably Owen's favorite track, and it's probably mine as well, and Remco's. And there's a reason for that. It's notoriously fun.
I said no. No. Okay.
You said no. Okay, Interlagos is overrated, guys. Ignore what I said. And we're going to look over finally to Abu Dhabi. And there's not much to say about Abu Dhabi. A very fitting grand finale for FS1. And that's what the Apex Grand Prix have up front. And honestly, it's looking pretty promising for them. And if you're a Taurus or a Latinen fan, I best say get your popcorn ready, because they'll definitely fight amongst for you guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So yeah, great summary there, Amir. Appreciate that. Getting myself back up to speed after the time off. So yeah, the end of the European campaign here in Monza before we head off to Mexico. A new round, in my experience in GPV. I don't remember any races at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez before. And then a bit of a twist to the usual ending in Brazil. We are changing it up to go to Abu Dhabi to end the campaign. So that should be interesting, especially if we have titles on the line in most of our GPV series. I think last year we were the only ones here in FS1 to have a proper title showdown, albeit it was a bit of a far-fetched thing. Oh no, it was 2 years ago. Sorry, 2 years ago we had the TOP guys going for the title head-to-head, but that was the only one, whereas Mike Quint was the undisputed champion after the United States Grand Prix. He thought he had it after Singapore, but he ended up getting a penalty. So the title race did last a little while longer, but I think I saw a bit of smoke in the background there. Might have been mistaken, but yeah, I think 2 years ago was the only title that was up for grabs on the final day between the TOP guys, Jack Mir and Shimon Frelich. So I hope to see more of that if we can. At least 3 drivers, I think, have a strong shout for a title shot if they do deliver their best drives in this final segment of the campaign. So here's a reminder of how the championship looks. Matthews Micah was in pretty strong control after the German round. It went a bit pear-shaped for Pavel in terms of his 13th and 15th place finishes. Didn't get many points for that, whereas Matthews won race 1. Then it was a close run thing in the Belgian Grand Prix, 41 points to Pavel, 31 to Matthews. But then dramatic stuff all the way through the Hungarian Grand Prix that allowed Pavel to gain a whopping 28 points, and that gets him within 8. But of course, Yassi, look at that, 41 points and 40 from Belgium and Hungary. That's absolutely spectacular stuff, as good as you can really ask for. That gives him a chance. Frank Hamming not being here, I think that is very, very unfortunate. He's been able to attend every round up until now, but I think if he loses out big time, then he won't be a championship contender anymore. Giuseppe Saracino, he'll have a big task, of course. He needs to probably win 3 or 4 rounds just to stand a chance. But the battle for 6th place in the championship, Amir, that's going to be really exciting as well. 3 drivers, all definitely within contention of Patrick and Scott. they've been in superb form, so you can't rule them out either.
No, absolutely, Scott. From the run of form that we've seen over the course of the summer and into Monza, could be breaking through to the 200s very soon. Oates and Saracino both been pretty good, more or less on similar pace for Team Sheba. We're kind of seeing that sometimes they have advantage to others, as we see someone trying to navigate. Yeah, that's pretty hefty indeed. And Frank Hemme, this is going to be a pretty big miss for him, especially given Monza's one of the places where you can perform badly qualifying and deliver. But at least he'll maybe, if he does come back, at least got a few more rounds to play for in his favor. Yeah, I mean, very, very interesting grid indeed. Seeing battles throughout the entire field. And again, coming through to a light in Monza, can't think of a better way to kick back off after our very long summer break.
Yeah, without a doubt. This time last year, I think it was Loic Meunier who pulled off a Grand Chelem in race 1. He was with King's Racing, if I recall correctly. He dominated from start to finish in one of the most one-sided events I've ever seen in FS1. In my years commentating in this division of GPVWC, he won it by a huge margin. Like, it's not like he ever had any real challenge. Like, he just pulled away pretty quickly, and that was that. Everyone else behind was just battling away with each other, and it allowed Loic to have an absolutely unstoppable victory that time. So ideally that won't happen this year. We'll have a very strong strong competition to make the odds of victory for one driver, pretty slim. So everyone should be battling away, and we should maybe have an upset winner. That'll be very rewarding to see, particularly for the team involved there. So yeah, it'll be a 26-lap feature race and an 18-lap sprint. So yeah, just right, I think. The fact the tires should be pretty good around here. You do have to work the brakes very hard though for the Roggia, the Rettifilio, and indeed the Parabolic as well. You do have to brake pretty hard for that, just to make sure you're ready to go on corner exit. Not too hard, of course, otherwise you'll end up in the scenery and the gravel there. So that's one thing to watch out, but you've got to make sure. Oh, the three-way battle into the chicane there, the Rettifilio. Not an appropriate place for 3 cars to go very often, and you just saw why, Amir.
He's doing a Ruben Machete, he's going backwards. Well, it's funny that you mentioned Loic Meunier, because Meunier I thought was racing, given his trusted words, but then again, Alex Lahoud did tell me that Jake Denhan would be racing, and I can't believe I believed him for a second time as well. But enough about the past as well. It's been grand from what we've seen, and Monza's been hard to be able to replicate that. It's not at all undoable. We can see D'Amelio be able to get pole position, get a race 1 win. I think we have seen such drives from before, but to pull it off at Monza would be nothing short of incredible. Has to demand for a good setup and utilize as much of the clean air as you possibly can. I think a compound changes will maybe play into effect for that, so a good strategy is also going to be the way to go. We'll see people trying to utilize the softs maybe for the first stint, because it's important to gain positions and then just keep the track running rather than, falling behind. And I don't see people going for the softs in the second stint will be able to catch up to the guys that initially start off on the softs as well. So all that's also to play for. Temperature seems to be very, very okay, 47 degrees, so might degrade fairly a bit, but again, a lot of factors here to play for here at Monza.
Absolutely. So in the sprint race last season, Harry Smith was the pole sitter on the reverse grid draw, but it was actually Tom Satterley who was brutally unlucky at times with MS Performance when they were trying to compete for titles with Victor Ivanov and himself and some of our substitute drivers as well. So Tom finally got his just desserts and won a race right here at Monza last year. So the Kiwi did everyone proud. Very difficult to get victories, particularly when you're all the way in Oceania to try and win from all the way over there when we're predominantly European and North American and South American series. It is so difficult to do it, but he managed to pull off the feat, his best day in GPV. So hope Tom is doing well wherever he is. You had been a Superlights driver at the start of the campaign, but he hasn't really followed up on that since the Saudi Grand Prix. So I hope Tom is doing okay wherever he may be. We're getting our drivers on the grid for our formation lap, so we'll look forward to that. I believe I watched the VOD back, and Carlos Martin, he had to help you out, Amir. You're so exhausted with your voice, so I'll hopefully do my fair share for you today.
Thank you, Tom, for making me lose my voice in my GPVWC commentary.
Here we go. Race director has allowed everyone to move off their grid positions and get their cars ready to go. So let's run down our grid one last time for the feature race, 26 laps. Luca De Melio, hometown hero, on pole position, with Pavel Andrzejewski knowing a chance to go lead on top of the championship is coming. He starts second ahead of Micah, his championship challenger. Scott Flack is fourth. Great result for Overpower. We have Tutis, Taras, Clont, and Raboli in the top 8, so more Italian joy from 5th to 8th there. Latinan and Saracino complete the top 10. Apex ahead of Team Sheba. Then we've Patrick Roshak 11th for Nexium Pole Team, and Michael Falkenhayn is 12th for 01 Esports. Owen Hausvik, not really a qualifying specialist, according to him a while back. He's 13th, actually, really good job. Nexium Pole Team have Gazowski 14th, Lucas Tylien is 15th, and then Matthew Stabinski for Hyperion just outside the point. Raymond Van Sust, Davide Zanini, Matthias Dabrowski, and Christian Glamsetter complete our top 20. Emma's Performance have Wesley Stefano 21st, with Philip Koenig beside him on the 11th row and 22nd. Alex Gonzalez Green, the only LEF auto racing car at the moment, is 23rd ahead of Marcus Christensen. One of the great pickups of the campaign, I have to say, for 100 to 1. Our final 4 drivers currently in the server are Tun Lower, Yannick Pleiss, Domenico Scarpelli, and Jesper Eriksson. So yeah, a good mixture between drivers we've known since the start of the campaign, Amir, plus some of the drivers that have taken up an opportunity to drive an FS1. So I said to you in the build-up, it's hard to ignore Multiforce. I know I said that even in pre-season testing. They just looked a little bit formidable to me. But yeah, I think Luca is a real wild card here. He's back for the first time in 5 years. So he's got a chance to win at home and really get everyone bouncing.
Indeed. Pixelate themselves have not won since back in Istanbul, I believe. And ever since then, that was their last time that they've ever been on the podium this season. And, that was incredibly fortunate, at least for Pixelate, to have the services of Jensen Benz back then. But another talented driver in the form of D'Amelio would be able to come in a clutch and see what he'll be able to do. He's got in a very good position at pole. And as you mentioned before, a mixture of young and hungry people ready to give it their all in FS1, and a lot of veterans here as they all line up on the grid.
Yeah, just waiting for the last few drivers to get their grid slots sorted before our red lights will illuminate. 4 weeks of hopefully a bit of R&R, but also mapping out this moment in everyone's heads. We're on board with the pole sitter. Here come the red lights. 5, get the revs up to the max, and go, go, go. Oh, Taurus is in pit lane. He's serving a penalty, so yeah, actually, a good point there. Nice one, Remco. But it's a great start for Pavel Andrzejewski on the inside. Defending, though, from Micah is D'Amelio. But, yeah, Pavel will hold on to the entry point there. Scott Flack preserves 4th place. The Tutis has P5, but there's a scramble in the battle for the top 10. Menno Clont just had a Viassi Latino, so great start for Yassi there. Raboli P8, Roshak 9th, and Saracino 10th.
Yeah, I can see there with Andrzejewski trying to give everything it goes. Here comes Roshak, maybe going side by side to overtake through. The Pixelate driver makes it a very good move. Through update goes Roshak, and Raboli down to 9th. Maybe a bit under pressure from Saracino, dialing himself, having trying to look around on for the rear wing. Everything seems to be very clean so far, not really aggressive here at Monza, which is all great to see.
I think was that Koenig? I can't tell from this angle. Yes, it was. Yeah, he's in the gravel at Lesmo 1. He's going to go way out in the back. He's on the harder compound tire. You can just see those yellow stripes. That indicates he's on the harder compound. So it's not the end of the world here for Philip by any means. He can just clean up the grime and the dust on those tires and just go longer on the stint. Maybe go a bit more hard on the tires just to start, and then he can back off. before everyone else has to pit. Perhaps lap 14 to 15 should be the ideal window to pit for our leaders. But it is D'Amelio holding on to that pole to begin the Italian Grand Prix feature race here in Formula Sprint 1. 4/10 of a second up on Pavel Andrzejewski, who needs as many points as he can to overturn that 8-point deficit plus the tiebreaker. So we're watching Latina now, just ahead of Raboli and behind Roshak. So not a great start, I have to say, for Apex, especially with Tara serving that penalty. Tunlure's in the pits at the moment. Maybe he just wants to get off the soft tires immediately. So that's an odd gamble, especially with... Oh, go ahead, Amir.
Yep, that was very close from Micah, just squeezing Flack. That was on the attack, coming for that corner. Poor exit means that he's going to be having Decutus behind, kick up the dust actually through the background. But Lisa gives him a bit of space. I think we saw in the previous lap, Saracino went a bit wide. Oh my word, that was so close. But Scottflack managed to keep his car steering straight.
Yeah, that could have been very scary indeed, similar to what happened to Koenig on the first lap. Yeah. If Tunlure at the very back now, if he pitted for strategy's sake, then it is an odd gamble to take, in my opinion, because you do want to be in a draft or a slipstream of some kind. So we'll check out the replay. Oh, you can see with the Team Iris car a bit all over the shop there. 0-1 esports car affected, and Koenig. Oh, there's what happened to Tun. That's what happened. He had to repair front wing. So yeah, that speculation is now debunked, and that was so unlucky for Phil. There was nothing he could have done about that. But now we're going to go right back to the beginning, the rundown to the Ret Filio with Jesper Eriksson's perspective at the back of the queue. But he looked to have gained some positions thanks to the chaos. There's Taros coming out of pit lane after serving that pit lane start. So Eriksson getting a nice pass completed there on the HGP. He's going to watch through Curva Grande. He has the Marcus Christensen 100-1 car to watch. Heading now into the second chicane, de la Roggia. And you can now see the Team Iris cars getting far too close. And that's certainly what yeah, that's unlucky. Yeah, the Team Iris car was just unsettled a bit, and that affected Jesper quite badly. Our third perspective now is from Wesley Stefano. We'll get on board with Yama's performance, and yeah, he's gone too close to the grass and he hits the Hyperion in the back. So that's unlucky as well. Nothing that could have been done there for... I'm not sure which one. It might have been Dabrowski. That's my speculation anyway. But yeah, just unlucky there. The Stefano incident just got too close to the grass, and the right tyre just couldn't grip anymore. So that's what cost him that moment. And D'Amelio is going to complete lap 4, still in the lead, or start lap 4.
Absolutely. Just need to be aware of the track width and just how short it is compared to the other ones we raced. It means that get your wheels on the grass and just break it, lose that braking momentum and hit behind. But at least doesn't seem to be any much harm done. At least for D'Amelio, 7 seconds off from Andrew Zitsky, who himself is 9/10 off from him in third. And Scott Flack is sort of being a buffer in between third and fourth. Yellow flag through. I think that might have been Yannick, I think, just seen losing. Yeah. Oh, look at this Vulcanite switching up through, almost looking over through Van Soest. Another sector 3 yellow.
Yeah, the Team Iris. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. He's on fire here. Get that car safely extinguished as best you can, Marshals. That's a horrific moment here just outside the
that's out of the track.
Oval transition.
Yeah,
the parabolica into the oval transition. So he's gone high side, and the back end just gives up. He holds it, but it's too little too late, and bang into the barrier just where the oval section ends. God, that would have hurt. And he's out of the race. There were 27 cars remaining here, Amir, but that was a scary incident, especially for some of the oncoming drivers. They wouldn't have known what to have done if he stayed in the middle of the circuit. But that was just such a hefty accident, side-on impact, and Team Iris have lost one of their drivers already.
I don't want to say this, but F1 the movie spoilers.
Oh, a little bit, yeah. David Yunt in the chat says the Diniz in the oven moment, if you remember from Argentina, 1996, when the Ligier went bang, or yeah, I think it was Ligier at that time, went bang. So, or was it Prost? Yeah, it's one of the other, 96, 97.
Oh,
No, it's
Rorschach
97,
makes
sorry,
move.
97,
Oh, going
yeah.
sideways, and that's not going to allow him out. Loses a couple of positions in the process. Oh, my word. Yes, they letting in a bit sideways, but Rorschach is going to lose 3 positions in the process of going too deep down turn 1.
I was 96 Andalusia, so I had it right first time. Anyway, set that's one time, and Patrick Rorschach, he's got a look on the inside here of Raboli. He has completed the move. Really good opportunistic driving there. Thankfully, it didn't end up in another barbecue there. And Patrick Rorschach picks up a lovely position there. P8 and definitely reverse grid permutations right there. Raboli will feeling very upset. He couldn't have done anything about it.
That was a bit of kick in the grass down behind. Won't lose a little bit, but Raboli now under pressure from Sarantino. The two Italians are going to duel through second, approaching for the third sector. Sarantino's not going to make a move down through Ascari. Harris continues to gain through positions. He's now up to 19th, and Raboli with a better exit. Sarantino has to just stay behind for the time being for the slipstream, hopefully to make a move down turn 1.
Exactly, yeah. So not the end of the world here for Massimiliano by any stretch. He's got a gap of about 0.2 on Saracino there. The interval showing how close things are. Definitely strategy will play a huge element in how the race is won or lost. And yeah, it's really Scott Flack kind of on his own at the minute in 4th place. Whoa. He's too far back from Matthews. But there we go. Big opportunity there for Zabinski, and he makes it count. So Kozowski was caught unawares. Beautiful pass by Zabinski.
Yeah, indeed. That's the second time we've seen an Axiom driver lose a place down turn 1. Oh my god, crash up on the front, crash up on the front. That was Clont.
KKR. Oh, it's Clont. It is Clont, yeah. Lost 3 positions, sorry. He's trying to get one of them back against Saracino, but at Lesmo 2, that's too much to ask for when he's lost a bit of his momentum. And yeah, definitely the warning will be now in his ear to say, watch out for your teammate. Your teammate is right behind. And of course, in 12th, it's Owen Kvillhausvik. So don't just ease off the throttle, because Owen would have taken that position if it was too generous for Menno. But there we go, a wise decision there just to let Tylene have the inside line and now help his teammate out after that incident by himself, I think, at Della Roggia. So now Menno will get his chance to get back to full power and defend from Kvillhausvik, and indeed Matthews Zubinski is there as well. So look at our timing tower. Tylene plus 5 positions from 15th to 10th. Matthews Zubinski plus 4, as well as Patrick Rorschach, of course. Oh, and here we are, championship battle. Andrzejewski versus Micah, head-to-head on circuit, Amir. Let's see how this gets on.
Yep, we're going to see this. They've been super close, been eyeing for each other throughout the race. Tyrus again up into 18th. I'm really impressed that Clont hasn't lost his front wing. There we go. Micah maybe make the move onto Andrzejewski. He doesn't. He just has to falter on back for the time being. And you have to be very, very careful to make an overtake here at Monza. I think for the team, if they do want to fight, it won't be ideal to fight for the corners, because that's going to allow for D'Amelio to gain those gaps even further. So it might be better to Multiforce interests to just try to make the overtake stick on the straight. But we know these two, they love to have a good fight between each other. This is for the championship after all. And Andrzejewski coming in with a big favor. It's the only 8 points that separates between Mike and Andrzejewski. That's the deficit between the leaders. And we know how much that's going to mean throughout 5 rounds left to go.
Yeah, at the moment, it's a halving of the deficit, I think, stay as they are, because 25 points will go to second place in the feature race, and 21 points will go to third place. So no fast lap bonus anymore. So it will mean that Pavel Andrzejewski will close the gap to a 4-point deficit as opposed to 8. So yeah, even at this point of the season, that is so important, just to get the opportunity to get very, very close. That's where the pressure really can tell, when mathematics are very, very slim, to say the least. So here's what happened to Clont. He's battling here with one of the Apex GP cars. He has the outside line. He gets hit in the back. That's a smack in the back there, and Menno had to run with the runoff area. So yeah, we're going to look from the back. That's exactly what happens. It's next in pole team Just too close too close really with the braking. So Patrick Roszak maybe given a word there just to say that was foul play and you need to be penalised for that, but we'll wait for any decision as it comes. So big benefit. Saracino and Tylene and Riboli all benefited from that small incident that did really harm Clont's prospects for now. But now here's Scott Flack. He's lost position to De Chutis. He was in 4th, but now he's back down to 5th. So De Chutis has picked up that spot in the last lap or two. So that was an important moment for De Chutis.
He seems to be pacing a lot faster than Flack is, about 2-3 tenths from the last lap. De Chutis was faster than Flack. Flack will have the slipstream though, so might be able to fight, but it's just pushing them just a bit further. 3.2 seconds between Micah and De Chutis, so I'm not sure they are quite calling quits. Look at this amazing fight though for P14.
Yeah, very, very valuable stuff going on here. Raymond Van Soest. We've got Davide Zanini. Sorry, he's in the other LEF, of course. Zanini in the second LEF, so my mistake there. Sorry, Lorenzo. I apologize. But yeah, good chance here for Gozowski to defend. Raymond holding on to that single point. And Oliver Taras from pit lane does have the inside at the Curva Grande, but it will become the outside for Valiante Della Roggia. So let's see what Davide decides to do. No, well, that could have gone very pear-shaped, just like we saw with Patrick Roszak and Clont. So Taras does make the move stick, but Alex Gonzalez Green, we'll see what has just happened to his teammate, and he'll be saying, oh, that's so annoying, I'm not going to let you get away with that. But Taras did make the move count. He got slowed down just in time. He didn't hit Gazowski at all hard. I think there might have been just a slight miss. I think it was very close, but it was a miss. And it allows Taras to get within a few car lengths now of Gazowski for a championship point.
Turns 4 and 5 really seems to be the action corner of this race thus far, and we're still only lap 9 off 26, and I'm always sweating my head off. Here we go. Taras on for the final corner through Parabolica. Needs to get a very good line, try to maximize as much speed as he possibly can. Out from the exit, at least a good thing will be that Gazowski will have Van Soest up ahead to facilitate a bit of the slipstream to defend, as Gonzalez Green Zanini is coming into the pits for LEF Auto Racing. I think that will be our first scheduled stop.
Yes, I would say this is a good time to pit if you're going to take a gamble. It is feasible to try and go to the end from here. Most drivers should be pitting just towards the 50% mark. Let's check out the onboard and we'll see exactly what happens. So Taras at the Variante de Redfilio was sliding around there, making sure he didn't spit out. So he's on the Curva Grande. He is ahead at the moment of Zanini, but he has to slow down just in the nick of time. So you can see there that the Nexium Paul team car was slowing down a bit earlier than anticipated. So that's how Oliver did react. He had to balance overtaking the LEF car with realizing what was going on ahead of him. So great driving and great anticipation there from Oliver, just to react in the nick of time there as the car was slowed down just in front of him.
Indeed, was eyeing for a place, then coming up from the braking, Gazowski occupied it upon his fight with Van Soest up ahead. So good thing for Taras to take evading action as quick as he did, and he's going to have to try and fight again. Again, for this is for the final point scored position here in race 1 through the final corner at Parabolica. As Taras goes, he'll have another run for it again. The thing is that Van Soest is still there and still be able to provide a bit of advantage to Gazowski. It's a brief yellow flag for the time being, but I think Gazowski just seems to be much better at the acceleration than Taras is looking at this.
Yeah, a little bit better on acceleration. Certainly doesn't harm anyone to have that slipstream as well. Here's a look at Riboli. Oh, right in the center of the racing surface there, getting a big block on was Patrick Roszak. So that's good defense there. Just borderline, I'm sure. You know, having everyone in the middle of the circuit can be risky. But it seems to be okay. Jesper Eriksson, Marcus Christensen just out of pit lane. Philip Koenig in the pits too. So a few other drivers have reacted to the decision there from Zanini to get the stuff, the work done in the pits to give themselves a chance to go long. D'Amelio unfazed at the minute in the front of the pack. He's never managed to do what Loic did last year, and that was to break away. Pavel and Matthews have been very close to him all evening long, but they haven't had any real opportunity to overtake him. So one of them will have to think of an acute strategy to try and win the race without having to resort to head-to-head battles on the track, Amir. So it is lap 12 right now, and it's still a case of everyone holding back their best cards.
Absolutely. Scott Flack, the first driver in the top 10 to go into the pits. Clont will follow suit. Might do for damage repairs if he does so. I think D'Amelio was sort of catching on through. Oh, good. Thailand's going to make down for the inside to Saracino. The Seoul KKR Esports driver in the top 10. Continue on from the fight where Menno lost. Zubinski trying to look round through Van Soest. Eoin Van Soest a bit shaky on exit for turn 2. A loss for Zubinski, a bit of momentum. Slipstream, we're going to see a lot of action coming for turn 4 as we've seen previously. Is he going to make it stick? Through around the outside of turn 3 they go.
Yeah, full power all the way here then on the brakes. Down to first gear, 88 kilometers an hour. Zubinski is ahead. Beautiful overtake there. That gets him 11th position. And Raymond Van Soest now has more work to do because Mateusz Gozowski, he's coming. So is Oliver Taras. So watch out behind you in 2 occasions there, Raymond. And indeed, Matthews himself has to be aware of his surroundings in front and behind since he's in the middle of this battle. But a great pass there by Zubinski, and he's now taking another half a second out of Raymond. So that's a brilliant response from the Hyperion driver just to pull even further clear. With Hausvik another 4 seconds up the road, so it's going to be tough, but you never know. And here we go. Pavel's in the pit, so Pavel has made the decision to pit early, and the Chutis responds as well, Amir.
Yep, and Scott Flack as well, first one too, except for the pit, so we're going to see how they're going to fare off compared to Scott. A lot of people actually coming into the pits. I think nearly everyone in the top 10 in the pits, along with a couple of others, like Kill Hausvik as well.
Oh yeah, lots of names in. So it's easier to probably tell who's still out on track to go a lap or 2 longer. Roshak has moved off as anticipated, so nice work there from the Nexium crew. Micah and D'Amelio, will they both pit at the same time, or will one box opposite? So that's the dilemma. Certainly when you're the race leader, D'Amelio losing that bit of familiarity. Now he's got one opponent who's now free up for the first time in this stint, as of course they were close on the grid, but Micah was unable to overtake his teammate Pavel on circuit. So this is a massive moment in the race. If both of these cars pit at the same time, it does give the undercut play to Pavel Andrzejewski. But if one of them pits alone, then it will be a big chance to try and gamble on the overcut. So watching and waiting to see who picks the pit lane or who wants to stay out. It's both of them in.
The pits.
Yeah, both in.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. So good to see the chance now. It will be fascinating to see if Pavel has a slipstream or any other chance to use a lot of push to pass. So yeah, that is a slipstream. But watching now to see, can anyone win in the pit lane? Yassi is in for his own stop, and that allows Giuseppe Saracino to go a bit longer and to inherit a temporary lead. But here we go, Pavel, full power.
Yeah, indeed. He was about a 10th slower than, I think, from the leaders up ahead. But let's see what can he make up here. There goes the leaders. But look at this. He's going to have enough speed. Head out for turn 1. Could be absolute calamity. 3 wide out turn 1. D'Amelio has to defend. And Van Soest has to take evading action, I believe. Out from the exit they go.
Wow, that was a major moment in this championship. So that was Domenico Scarpelli actually. Oh, they're 3 wide. They're 3 wide of the Curva Grande. And through the middle goes Mateusz Micah. Mateusz Micah in the 14 is ahead. The car that won the title last season under Mike Quint's stewardship. The number 14 back in championship position. I know still plenty of racing to do, but all of a sudden D'Amelio has lost his lead and he's been beaten by both the Malta forces. But that's an amazing pass for Mateusz Micah from the exit pit lane to take the lead like that. That is extraordinary.
That was incredible, absolutely amazing. They all held their nerves, kept it cool, but Mateusz Majka gave it his all through 4 and 5, comes off better. Thing is, we have never seen Luca D'Amelio race with slipstream, and now Andrzejczyk and Mateusz Majka are going to give him the slipstream, and he's been lapping about 5/10 slower than them, but with that slipstream, he can be able to maybe claw it back up. It's completely doable. Also, I believe I did say Van Seurs. That was actually Scarpelli, my apologies.
All right, yeah, no worries. It was actually 11 who won the title last season. Sorry, Mike Winter of the 11, not the 14. My mistake. So, anyway, this is the big race on here. Pavel now behind his teammate for the first time in the race, but now he knows he can drop the dime and go for it for the remaining 12 laps or so. I'll check out the action replay. This is, real camcorder stuff. Get this on record. Watching the double slipstream. There's Luca who loses the momentum and right in the middle. That is unbelievable. Absolutely remarkable stuff there from Matthews. That is the courage of a champion already. Of course, he has the FS2 title in the pocket. So that's the experience he has to go for it. And both those cars had no alternative but to let him go. That was just brilliant.
Absolutely incredible. It's one of those highlights that we would put on into GPVWC's greatest moments, in my opinion, with that overtake that we've just seen from Majka on Andrzejczyk and D'Amelio. When it seems to be they seem to have the races under control, comes in through and makes the overtake like that. Incredible from the Polish driver. And he is pushing away, so he's going to try and see what he can do to set it alight. As we look over through the tire compounds, everyone effectively moving on to the hards. Taras and Falkenhayn, the only ones of the soft runners left to pit, and Glabser switches over to the softs.
Yeah, definitely a sort of circuit where you just, have to get the pit stop in at a reasonable time. It's very no contact. That's Tylene in a drift there. He had to recover from the contact, and that allows free pass there for Saracino. He's through to 12th position, but Roszak, it's definitely one of those days for him. He does complete the pass on the high side at the Parabolica, but Tylene was unsettled, and maybe that will go down as a racing incident. But scary moment for Tylene at a high speed corner to go sideways like that. We did catch it just in the nick of time, so thank goodness everyone is okay and can carry on.
Yeah, good thing for Tyler as well to save it in the way they did. Not a very easy corner to back off, though. Saracino trying to have a look at a move down through turn 4, but Roszak defends pretty well, and the Italian will eventually have to try again.
Absolutely. Making sure he is okay, just to realise that he got the slice of luck there. He didn't have any involvement there in the battle between Patrick and Lucas, but now he has a chance to slipstream the Pixelate car, the Nexon Pole team, beg your pardon. So watching away, see what he can do. No chance there, unfortunately, but Varianti Ascari, plenty of drama can happen there. Oh, a bit too deep there, actually, for Giuseppe. Bit of over-enthusiasm, but he's caught it just in time, but definitely a chance now, as it will be a bit harder to turn in with the tyres picking up some dirt. A chance for Tylene to get him back. It will be difficult. Oh, he's gone very high himself there, so a bit of a mishap for Tylene, and he loses that chance, so unfortunate.
Gonna have to do a lot to claw back up. Tower is still the sole driver left to switch to the hard compounds as Falkenhayn enters into the pits, and I don't think overcutting is going to do a lot of favor as we see Roszak sideways out from the first, but at least recovers it very well. And Saracino just a bit too far back, I believe, to make a move onto turn 4. This has been an exciting race, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've been waiting with excitement to get back into the broadcast booth, and it's definitely been a treat so far. So let's check out the replay once again here. Patrick Roszak taking a chance on the outside against Lucas Tylene, and a little bit of contact, a little bit of aero drag there, just unsettling the KKR car, and that's what resulted in a slide, but it was caught in time. So Tylene defending the inside line, having to brake a little bit earlier. So there's one bit of contact, there's another. So that's critical evidence. There was definitely a bit of contact, and that caused Tylene to slide wide, and Taras will take to the pit lane, so his chance to go from pit lane to a podium. It's certainly not going to happen today, sadly. But if you can get a 12th place finish or thereabouts, that would be really, really impressive, and that will set him up for whoever the top 10 is restructured in the draw. So if you can get a 12th or 13th place finish, that would be really delightful, I think, given the circumstances. There he is. Oh, wow, that was close. Oof. Well, my goodness, that was another moment that didn't end in tears.
Goodness me, I think Rorschach just moved a bit. Clont was not really expecting it, and another contact might be another damage to Clont's front wing. He still seems to be going pretty good in the top 10, to be honest. Under pressure from Saracino through turn 4. Again, Saracino's just not quite close enough to make the move. And yeah, as it stands, keep seeing a bit of yellow flags though. Ericsson also into the pits. And yeah, still only 2 DNFs, so quite impressive though. Tension draws up the front to Latinen. He's going to make a move onto Flack. He was one of the first drivers to go into the pits, but could be coming undone for the overpowered driver.
Absolutely. Scott Flack, certainly it's tricky to get the setup right around here, and I think he was a bit concerned about his chances to get the setup working the way he needed it to. But yeah, no doubt about it. In the championship battle, Latinen cannot afford to drop too many points today. Otherwise, his top form from the last month or so before the summer break will be negated quite a bit to lose out 20 points or 15 points on the winner. That's going to be tough no matter what happens between the Motorsport drivers. He's going for the inside line against Flack. And Yassi Latinen through clean as a whistle. Ooh. Watching out for the overstep there on the power out of the Rettifilio, and he's got it done. So Latinen has a top 5. That's worth 16 points. He's going to lose out 14 points to the winner of today's race. But now for next gen pole team, they want more points, and Guzowski has possession of one of them, and he wants to double it up against one of his fellow Polish drivers named Matthews. That's Subinski in the Hyperion in 14th.
Well, the battle of the superior Mateus continues on through down turn 4. This is going to be pretty interesting. He's not quite close enough, has to funnel in behind. Did see from behind Van Surst. Too much out from turn 1 allows for Glamser to get into P16. Gazowski tried to offset Zubinski, but can't do much.
No, can't do too much about that for now. Yeah, the more opportunities to come, we're heading towards about 7 laps to go, 6.5 to go. Of this feature race. Tylene now behind his teammate Clont, so Clont has regained that position that was briefly altered as Clont had that moment getting hit in the back by Rorschach. So Tylene now has to provide the rear gunner support with Phil Hausvik now dealing with Oliver Taras. So yeah, as I was saying, coming out of pit lane, a 12th position will be a great outcome for Oliver from the pit lane, and now he's got to take on Phil Hausvik to get that target position. But I'm sure if you talk to Oliver, he'll say, I want a top 10, and it is doable. But making this pass into the Rettifilio is a great way to continue that journey. But Phil Hausvik shuts the door, Amir. He's not going to tolerate the narrative for the home team. He wants to be the party pooper and help 100 to 1 and their miracle season get even better.
That was such an aggressive defense heading into turn 1. I'm not sure if Towers would be happy with that, especially since he set the fastest lap in the previous lap. Here we go, down for turn 4 they go. Is Kowalski going to do the same thing? He is going to do so. A little bit of push and shove, side by side. Towers retaliates back, but at least he's got the move. Up to 12th he goes for Towers.
Yeah, that's calm, but very calm and certainly well-drilled driving there from Towers to make a move like that. Still on the high side out of De La Roggia, still pushing on into the Lesmos and getting the move done on the power. So really impressive job there from the Briton. But it's still Matthews Mike. He's actually pulled out a 2-second lead here over Pavel Andrzejewski. So that's going to grow his lead as opposed to halve it. It will become probably a 13-point lead at thereabouts. Yeah, 13 points, I believe.
Ooh.
Plus 5, so yeah, really, really impressive here for Mike if he can hang on to this for the remaining 6 laps or so. And D'Amelio now by himself in 3rd place. He's too far ahead of the Tutis, too far behind Andrzejewski. But I'm sure on a return after several years away from GPVWC to get a podium once again in FS1. That'll be absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, indeed, kind of a no man's land at the minute, but won't take away from how great D'Amelio did in regards to the first stint, and keeping Multiforce behind is no easy feat and very hard for any FS1 driver to do. And the fact that he's managed to do that in his debut is something to look forward to, be proud of at least. But yeah, I think that overtake and having the Multiforce ahead is a bit harder to follow their trail and slipstream. But at least the good thing is I think he might be clear of Lorenzo. I mean, he is 3/10 faster than the car behind, so he'll at least have a podium place upon his return, which is all good news for the Italians, I must imagine.
Absolutely, but it's good to see there a green sector 2 for the Oates. Pulling a 10th clear of Latinen on this sector. We'll see now if they can continue the form into the low 129s. Oates crossing line. Can it be a new best lap? No, it won't be, but it does give him that 3/10 of a second boost to make sure Latinen can not close him down on race pace. But here's Taras. Can he overachieve my target for him for today? But it will be difficult, Amir, because the two teammates are paired up 10th and 11th for Kaizen Kota Racing. So it's going to be so difficult to beat both of them. But to get one of them, that'll be a sublime achievement. But he's gone aggressive. He's not in position. He's not alongside enough there to overtake Tylene cleanly. But he's going to try a second time, Amir. Can he get it done?
Through the nose, out from turn 3 they go. Taras will have the inside line. Tylene is going to go very defensive, holds back down to the racing line. Will it be enough to defend from Taras? It does seem to be, but that was very close for Taras to get his nose down from turn 1, and Tylene shuts the door almost too much. They went too sideways. But this is going to be a very tense fight, especially with Clont up ahead as well. Got good news for Tylene. This is the teammate advantage that we were talking about during qualifying.
100%, yeah, you can work together and maybe even swap positions once or twice on the high speed straights. Tylene blocking into Ascari. Got to make sure even into the third part of the slalom he's okay, but push to pass is definitely going to be a factor. He's going to go the outside line. Bit of stress here for Tylene. He's already experienced trouble into Parabolica.
What?
Oh, big dive from Taras. A beautiful camera angle there from the rear wing. Is he going to make it stick? They're both keeping it to the track limit. Oh, it's going to be a duel to see who's got the better gearing, who's got the shorter wings, who can make this count. They're neck and neck across the line, barely anything to separate them. Better lap time there for Taras. Wheel to wheel combat. Phil Hauswick is watching and hoping to see if they waste more time. But again, contact. And that's Tylene probably having a laugh, just saying, yeah, that's what happens if you challenge me. I'm going to knock you back. And it's a big moment there for Phil Hauswick now, because he has his 12th position again. So Taras's hard work has been taken away. But I suppose in the perspective of both drivers, they've just been racing hard but fair. It was just an unfortunate outcome that Taras did slide and lose a position. But yeah, I think 1-1, no need to dish out any penalties or even a warning. I think that's all love and war. Fairness, I think.
Yeah, I think Taras too much on the sausage curve. I wanted to see if Tylene did get from enough room, but that was an incredible dive from Taras. We never really see drivers make a lunge like that through the Parabolica, especially the outside line. Gotta think about how much he has trust in his tires, and even going sideways, but still keeps it under control. And Tylene, even though he has the inside line, couldn't do enough to dispel of him. And in fact, Taras had more speed because of that outside line, and almost he cemented down turn 1. But these are two drivers absolutely at the peak of their craft, giving it their all. Down through turn 1 they go, and just a tiny bit of a barge. Ooh, I'm trying to see if he gave room. Taras, yeah, he did give room, and Taras just came off a bit off the worst of it. I would say that is a racing incident. I do agree with you.
Yeah, it's just the wheels locking together into the right-hander. I think that's all you can really note happened there. It's just really unfortunate. Yeah, you can see the wheels locking into turn 2. Taras just slid with a left-hand dart there, but he recovered it. We're down to 3 laps to go. Still lots at stake here. Pavel Andrzejewski and Luca D'Amelio, the 3 drivers who have been comfortable on the podium all day long so far, but from the battles in the top 10 and below for points as well, they've been the ones to watch. Christian Glamsetter now in 14th. He set a purple sector too. Now that he's gone from the hard to soft tire strategy, so that's going to be a handful of points for what is normally Frank Hamming's car. So that's a relief to see for the owner of the team, who's relinquished his seat for today, to see his replacement driving so well. That's going to give him a bit to work with, of course. But now we're going to check out the replay again. We're now 2 laps to go. Micah's still in the lead, but now for 18th position, there's a battle between that's Dabrowski, I think, and Remco. Oh, sorry, no, that's Roshak. There's yeah, just a slide there from Van Soest. It was one of the Nexium pole teams. Yeah, it's Gazowski, I beg your pardon. So Gazowski versus Van Soest ended in defeat there for Van Soest. He lost to another position in the battle for 17th, I should say. So it wasn't for 18th. But now Thailand, is he going to be overtaken by Kvillhausik? This will be a turn up for the books here. No, the Super Swede says absolutely not. And the Norwegian Kvillhausik has to try again. But definitely the dilemma is for Kvillhausik, just get these points no matter what it is. But with Taras knowing that Apex need all these points in the Teams Championship, with Team Sheba covering 4th and 9th tonight, that's a big boost to their championship ambitions. So Latinen in 5th and Taras in 13th. It's a slight advantage to Team Sheba, trying to reclaim 2nd place after losing it in the last couple of rounds. So Apex GP have to play the games at home. Don't risk losing what they've got. But certainly with the final lap about to come for Micah, there will be decisions to be made. If Ascari is not a great overtaking point in these cars, it has proven a bit tricky, then you've got to do it into the Rettifilio, to be honest, Amir, or else, of course, Della Rogia. They are your 2 best chances. Oh, that's the Hyperion wide. That's the Hyperion wide. So, heart and mouth moment there for Zabinski, but he's got his point. He's still got his point. Taras on the inside at the Parabolica. Oh, he's now got it done on the inside, but he needs help from Thailand on the slipstream, because Kvillhausik is just going to try and hog the line and get that draft. And yet he holds on. He holds on. That's really good from Eoin Kvillhausik. But the inside line is open for the turn 1 of 2 here into the Rettifilio. Slips the slip and the slide there, contact in the back. But Taras has done it for the 2nd time, and he'll hope that's his work done. The 12th place in his hands right now. But it's too much to ask for Thailand to be caught at this stage unless there's a mistake. So Taras don't want to burn out the tires so close to the end at all. But Amir, yeah, we have to think now Micah is heading towards the finish line. He's through Ascari. He just needs to complete the Parabolica. Yellow, perhaps for one of the back markers. But yeah, take it away, Amir. Let's see what happens in the end of this race.
Absolutely. Through the final corner, Micah goes. It seems to be very, very good upon the return after the summer break. It's incredible. And Multiverse comes here, kicking and running with a 1-2 here upon the return in FS1. Mateusz Micah wins with Pandren Drzynski 2nd. And look at D'Amelio, as we mentioned before, GPVWC grand return, a 3rd place for the pole sitter. Incredible.
Congratulations to our 3 podium setters. They never looked at all flustered today, so there was no doubting them. So not quite the slipstream absolute epic that we could have seen, but yeah, there's no taking away from those 3 guys. And the 13-point lead in the championship now for Micah means that the distance between... Zabinski spun! He's lost his point! He's lost his point! Falling all the way to 19th. Raymond Van Soest takes 18th, but it's a point out of nowhere for Mateusz Gazowski. So great outcome there for Nexium pole team to grab a point to back up Patrick Roshak there. That is a great piece of luck there, but so unlucky for Mateusz Zabinski. Oh, what happened there?
For the Parabolica as well, which is literally the final corner. It's too wide. It's too wide. Tries to correct it and just way too much. Nearly took out his teammate. If it wasn't for the quick, fast lightning reactions and through the track. Oh, wow. That's very unfortunate for Zabinski, especially for the final few laps it seems to be almost in haywire, going wide out of Ascari. And 19th is the best they can do. Mateusz Micah celebrates in grand fashion for what has been probably one of his finest races to date.
Without a doubt. So his lead increases to 13 points. That's the equivalent of a 4th place in the upcoming sprint race, or indeed a 6th place unanswered in this feature. So there you go. Healthy advantage, but certainly not enough by any means to get comfortable. So Micah beats his teammate Andrzejewski. Yet another win here, his 7th of the campaign. Congratulations there. Luca D'Amelio was best of the rest. You couldn't ignore Monteforce, but to make it back after years away from GPV, he's done it on his home turf. Congratulations, Luca D'Amelio. Lorenzo De Ciutis for 4th place there. Really impressive from our another Italian there. Yes, Latinen for the home team in 5th. Scott Flack gets a 6th place for his efforts. A pretty lonely race for him. Not too many battles to worry about. But then Riboli, another Italian, 7th. Patrick Roszak, 8th. Giuseppe Zarcino, another Italian, in 9th. And Menno Klont in 10th. Points have been awarded for Lucas Tylene, Oliver Taras, who had to start from pit lane, Owen Kvelhausvik, Christian Glamsetter on his appearance on behalf of Frank Hamming. And then, perhaps unexpectedly, Matthias Gozowski crossed the line as he saw Zubinski spinning and sliding out of control. He got the final point. But hard luck Hyperion with Dabrowski there, only coming 16th when his teammate fell off the road. Michael Falkenhayn 17th, Rowan Van Sust 18th, the unlucky Zubinski 19th, and another Italian there, Davide Zanini in 20th. And the remaining drivers who finished the race were Wesley Stefano, Domenico Scarpelli, another hero from home, Tun Luer, and Alex Gonzalez Green for LEF Auto Racing. But the 4 DNFs, unfortunately, we lost Marcus Christensen, Jesper Eriksson, Philip Koenig, and in a fiery inferno, Yannick Pleiss also crashing out for Team Iris. So yeah, joy and despair wherever you look, Amir, but I was thoroughly entertained, and I hope you were as well.
Yeah, I did. What a great way to welcome the viewers and the drivers back to racing here in Monza. 26 laps has been completed through race 1. We've still got the sprint race left to go, and it's going to be any guesses to see who will come off dominant in that. I was certainly surprised that Matej Schmake came off, especially with the gap that he had to win, and it's anyone's guesses to see who will come up on top.
Yeah, and one way to make an informed guess will be the reverse grid draw, which will come up after our quick break. So stay tuned and we'll deliver that news to you post haste. And welcome back to Monza, everybody. It's myself, Eoin Harmon, beside Amir Oates in the commentary booth for the 12th round of the 16 race season here in Formula Sprint 1. And a bit of a rare feat has come up here, Amir, because on pole, it's the other Pixelate car. It's Massimiliano Riboli.
Indeed, first double Italian, double Nexium pole position here today. Haven't really seen that feat in quite a long time, but really good, happy there for Riboli. Done really good during the pace and the feature race, and with the sprint race having not even need to require a pit stop, we can maybe see him could take control of the field and just hold on to that lead for a little bit longer. Sort of similar to what we've seen to D'Amelia do in about the 10 or 12 laps that he's done just before the pits.
Yes, indeed. We'll see if there are any particular tactics or else slight adjustments people can make to their cars just to make sure there is a way for the more aggressive sprint race to unfold. Most people should be able to go to the end without pitting. They should be able to eke out the tire life a little bit extra. I know certainly there was the gamble to go softer. I think Scott Flack needed to rely on a softer compound to hang on to his win. Most recently in Hungary. So if I wasn't paying attention on the VOD, I believe that's how he did it. So the gamble, definitely, maybe some people will be tempted to go on the soft tire and make it last to the end. Yeah, definitely. Luca will hopefully have some advice for his teammate Massimiliano to help him try and nick a podium or another top 5. That will really help Pixelate's cause in this 2025 season.
I think the advice that he would give to him is don't let the multi-force drivers overtake you.
Yeah, that's very solid advice. But indeed, the Mod-Force guys have to start 6th and 7th as a result of Riboli's number being number 7 there on the grid. So not the worst outcome stretch there for the championship leaders. But being stuck in the middle of that pack into the Rettifilio, that can be a very scary prospect. I know certainly there was mayhem in Hungary. A lot of cars on the start line ended up in a huge concertina, and debris was sprayed everywhere. So that's the thing. You have to be very alert to your situation, particularly if someone stalls on the line, Amir.
Yeah, indeed. Especially for like how long Monza is, and the run down through turn 1. Just all need to be very, very cautious indeed. I think we're having one of the drivers having a bit of an issue heading into the race. I think Lucas Thailand is suffering from connectivity, but just have to see if that will be resolved in time before the race. But gently going into the race session now, as we said before, Riboli on pole.
Yeah, so just wait to see, because we don't want to unjustly carry on when a driver has an honest attempt to get back into the server. It'd be very unfair to deny them a chance to rejoin and ensure we have our complete grid. Of course, you have to eventually call it if the problems last too long. We have to have a race at some point. So hopefully Lucas will be okay and we can allow everybody to have another run here in the sprint race. So we just need to allow race control just to judge that situation and make the call to ensure we have the full grid. But yeah, definitely the tension will build up. Warm up flew by, has to be said, for a quick commercial break. But yeah, I think we are able to let cars onto the grid. Tylene,
not here.
He's not here. So his chance to participate in the sprint race has been lost. But yeah, we'll have to console him, but move on with the action. Everyone else is ready to go. The 27 remaining drivers have been assembled, and we have our formation lap starting right now. And Riboli got the lucky number 7. He's on pole in the second Pixelate car, so a huge achievement there for Pixelate, getting pole position on both races. Scott Flack, Yasser Latinen, and Lorenzo Di Ciutis complete the first and second rows. Luca D'Amelio 5th ahead of Pavel Andrzejewski, and the enhanced championship leader Matthews Micah with Patrick Roszak in P8. Giuseppe Saracino and Menno Clont complete the top 10. Oliver Taras doesn't have to worry about pit lane start this time. He's on row 6 beside Owen Kvilhausvik. And Christian Glamstetter and Matthews Kozowski 13th and 14th Matthew Dabrowski gains a position there, P15, so he will have a chance to score a point after all. But Michael Falkenhayn in the 01 esports car, I want to say that's my point. I want it. We have Raymond Van Soest, Matthew Zubinski, Davide Zanini, and Wesley Stefano leading the top 20. And 21st, that's Domenico Scarpelli with Tun Luer, Alex Gonzalez Green, and then the first driver ranked who did not finish the feature race in 24th, that's Marcus Christensen, Jasper Eriksson, Philip Koenig, and Yannick Pleiss, 25th through 27th. And as we mentioned, Lucas Tylene has lost connection to the server, or had a failure with his hardware that has cost him the chance to participate. So it's a terrible loss for KKR especially, but for all of us watching, it's going to be disappointing not to have the Super Swede in action. But nevertheless, 27 cars all want to win this sprint race, and it should be a tactical and on track phenomenon, I think.
4 retirements we had in the feature race, which I'll be honest is quite a nice surprise, especially when we see Monza usually being almost a demolition derby sometimes, but hasn't been the case during the feature race, apart from just a few occasions. Sprint race has been known to cause a bit more havoc and hecticness given the short nature of the races, the reverse grid, all that in mind. But again, you can just feel the anticipation. One of the fastest sprints that we'll have on throughout the calendar. Raboli on front and Flack, who got his first win in Hungary, on second.
Right, Amir, just waiting for everybody to be lined up correctly. And here come the lights. Let's see. Jens Latinen looking in his right-hand mirror, ready to go. And they're away. Let's see who has the best launch. Looks pretty even between first and second. Flack is going to take some slipstream, and Raboli defends aggressively. Latinen will want to fill the space left there. And of course, D'Amelio, the other Pixelite car, comes in. Flack. Oh, contact between the teammates. Oh, no. And the other Apex GP car involved there. So Taras gains a few places, but Raboli's dream has become a torturous nightmare.
Yeah, he's taken one of the Polestar birds with him. Down to 27th he goes. Absolutely dramatic. Latinen up into third, trying to challenge up for D'Amelio in second. D'Amelio's trying to get the win that he never got back in race 1. And Ron Charchi's going for up into second. Scott Flack, though, great start from him. Up through into second. There goes Matej Micah going side by side with DeCutis. Down for the second last Mo. Is it going to make it work? He has to do so because he's going to be in a good championship run. Andrew Dinsky down through behind. Going to make the move as well, facilitate the slipstream that his teammate has. Up for a scurry they go. Nearly 3 wide.
Oh, goodness me. Teammates got to watch out for each other here, even if they're battling for the honours of Formula Sprint 1 champion. Lorenzo DeCutis and Giuseppe Saracino themselves paired up. So Scott Flack has taken the lead. D'Amelio will feel so heartbroken to have hit his teammate there. Perhaps not much he could have done. It was a melee into the chicane, the Rettifilio chicane. Yeah, Manocont gaining that position, but Glam Setter absolutely amazing here to be 10th place on his substitute appearance, defending from Oliver Taras in one of the prime teams of this season. But Taras will have the look at the inside, but he backs out for now. He has another look and he goes for it. Can he stick it? No, I don't think he can on this occasion. He tries to switch back, more contact, but he has to go full push to pass to stand any chance.
No, he doesn't. Has to just stay behind, facilitate the stretch as he can. It's the thing with having no teammate. To McClont is effectively on his own. And Jazinski makes the move up to Matej Micah for 4th. And that seems to be coordinated, given it's not seen the corner entry. I think Andrew Dinsky is going to go on for a charge against Latinen and D'Amelio. Patrick Roszak just there, not making sure that Micah is easy as it stands. Everyone seems to be utilising it for the soft compounds. Barkill, Halsvig, Zubinski, Eriksson, and Christensen. Yellow in sector 2. Oh.
Yeah, that'll be some of the drivers towards the back of the field, but now that the gloves are off here, this will allow
Zanini.
more competitive racing. Yes, Davide Zanini. Oh, he's out of the Grand Prix, and more heartache for LAF Auto Racing. Their form definitely been dealt a lot of bad looks. We said they haven't had too many successes since I was absent from the show. So here's Zanini into Lasmo too. He has the MS Performance and the Team Iris car. to his right, and unfortunately there was just no room for him. Bit of contact there, and that sent him spearing into the tyre wall.
Yeah, indeed. Just the wheel detached from his rear right. Nothing much more that Zanini can do. And claims the first Italian here in the sprint race. Attention towards Zubinski, Micah and Andrew Zitsky now. The battle for fourth seems to be slowly done here. But look at this. Kvyat Hasvik side by side with Guzowski.
Oh, goodness. Zubinski's going to have a great look here. Taking inspiration from what Micah did in race 1, maybe. No, he's been blocked off. Kvyat Hasvik. He's going to have to concede there. Good pass from Guzowski in the next pole team. But yeah, definitely more drivers are in with a shout of a point or more. Yeah, it's going to be very, very close. I know Zeeuw and Esports will be hoping to team up here at some stage. They've just got to find a way past Tunlure. If Jasper Eriksson can manage that, that would be a huge advantage to them. But we've got yellows again in Sector 2. Might be a small moment. Maybe Marcus Christensen has had a mistake somewhere. Not quite there. But anyway, there he is. Christensen's down a little bit. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was that yank place that we've just seen on the exit from the Scari going wide, hitting the gravel. But Christensen has been indeed caught up in some incident, down from 10 seconds to Koenig. Eriksson's cleaning up a couple of places. I think we might see someone else dropping, I believe. But it's still kicking off here, lap 4 out of 18.
Yeah, so much going on here. A few position swaps there. Just the timing screen has changed a little bit. Tunlure and Eriksson going head to head as well. So here's our Christensen by himself at the moment into Lesmo 2. The back end gives up on him as well, and he's going to spin nearly 180 degrees. Not quite the full spin, but he does recover it and carries on. But it will have hurt his tires a little bit, so he needs to monitor those temperatures and hope for a little bit of... Oh, there's definitely been an incident here. Rojak is out of the race. Patrick Rojak got a top 10 in race 1, but he's now out of the race. A big crash has taken Patrick Rojak out of the race, and LEF have lost both cars.
Oh, so there's a lot of people retired. Falcon High, Koenig, Gonzalez,
that's a big incident. That's a big incident.
It's a huge incident.
My word. I will have to check what happened there with the replay. Yes, here we are. We're riding with Patrick Rojak's perspective. He's got the outside line, but yeah, contact there with the Team Shiba, and he's facing backwards. Someone may have been caught unawares into Variante della Roggia, or else he decides to quit. Yeah, so this is Falkenhayn. We're going to see Falkenhayn with a damaged car out of the race. Here he comes. Oh, that was a separate incident. Oh, yeah, the yellow flag should have been waving for that section, and that's just a moment of, just a real... Yeah, you can see Falkenhayn tried to slow down, and unfortunately he's been hit. So, yeah, just one of those moments where one driver just lost the bearings, and it caused a big incident. So Falkenhayn, he'll be devastated by that. Nothing he could have done.
That seems to quite carry off a lot through. Stefano picked up from damage of that. Also amongst the retirees. Scott Flack now has to worry about D'Emilio Latinen behind. One of the best of the rest drivers. The other one has been pretty strong throughout qualifying and throughout race 1. It's really hard for the Australian. It's doable. He could get to second race 2 win here, in contrary to Hungaroring. Very emotional indeed for Fleck himself. Has been trying very, very hard, and it has indeed to pay dividends for one of the best tire management drivers in the championship, in my opinion. It could play off here in race 2.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So the fact that Tom Satterley won the race 2 last year, I made the comment that to come from the continent of Oceania, or else the anti-Padean nations, Australia and New Zealand, it's so difficult to have to come up in a time zone totally opposite to yours in some respects, and come and win. Oh no, Hyperion agony again. That looks to have been Van Zust and Sabinski have been involved in an accident there. but the chaos means that he's lost 10th place, and sorry, that was Dabrowski. Dabrowski's involved there as well. So yeah, Dabrowski's down. Zbinski was 17th up to 16th. So yes, beg your pardon. That's Dabrowski involved with an accident there. So check out the replay again, find out what happened.
What is
that's Dabrowski against the HGPs? That's Scarpelli, and also the MS Performance car. There's the contact right in the back. Oh, then a receipt there. Dabrowski turning in the spin there. So Raymond van Soest and Matthew Dabrowski both falling out of the points there. How devastating that is. But at least the cars are still running and they can try again. Yeah, Hyperion will feel a lot of points have been lost today through very shocking moments that came out of the blue. But they still have time to recover, I suppose. Dabrowski is now in place to have a shot here with 15th place up to 14th against Twin Lure. Team Iris had it tough in race 1 as well, with the difficulty of getting those cars to the line to reach the checkered flag. But now back to the leaders for a moment here, Amir. We've still got Flack nearly a second ahead, but D'Amelio, looking for a double podium, has to work very hard because Latinen and Andrzejewski are coming for them.
Doesn't seem to be D'Amelio was doing pretty good in his race pace in comparison to his qualifying, since it's now gone down to about 8 seconds, 8 tenths. Of course, Scott Flack can be used a bit of the push the pass to help mitigate that gap a bit further between himself and Luca. But Jase Latinen in between D'Amelio and Andrzejewski behind. So got quite a work to do if he wants to try and get maybe into the lead. It is completely doable for the Streamers Forever. We have seen him thrive in such scenarios before. Still up 7 out of 18 though. And Andrzejewski seem to be climbing out, coming through Ascari. If he can keep it clean, can use the slipstream down through turn 1. Could go anyway.
That's right. It's still wide open, but much better. Sector 2 here for D'Amelio. 3/10 gained in that single sector alone. More moderate sector with the most turns of the lap, really, or I suppose equal with sector 3. And a great chance for D'Amelio to get the lead here, get the home crowd really jammed, or really jumping for joy and juiced up, hoping to see the victory after all. But Latinen is gonna give him a real fight. Oh, that's so close to contact, and the dirty air is gonna definitely play its tricks on both these drivers. But we saw already, I think the power has let Luca D'Amelio into the race lead. An amazing comeback after years away of the series, probably doing other things with his time and effort. He's taken the lead, and the crowd is going absolutely mental.
Absolutely, Scott Flack just far too slow out of turn 2 and tried to let D'Amelio in. We're hoping for the slipstream to be able to counteract that through turn 4, and it didn't quite work out for him. But D'Amelio gave 4 positions en route to this lead. Pretty good, and Scott Flack has held the lead since lap 1. It's coming a bit undone for him.
Yeah, we can look at the timing tower and see the position changes. D'Amelio hit by the reverse grid draw from 3rd place down to 5th, but he's now taken the lead. Then it's +2 for the championship contenders, -2 for Lorenzo De Ciutis, +3 for Taras, Glamsetter and Gazowski, but an amazing +12 for Jesper Eriksson. He has some points for 01 Esports after all, and that's the performance of the day from the back of the grid there for Eriksson, taking advantage of his car as well as perhaps some of those incidents in and around him. He's been driving very well, but Latinen hoping to make Flack's morning even worse as he's all the way over in Australia. Not this time, I'm afraid. Yassi has to wait a bit longer, but we're nearly at the 50% distance, and there's still plenty more racing to do, Amir. And let's check out Raboli, his comeback drive. The pole position turned into a desperate situation, turned around at this Del Rettifilio corner, and he has to work very, very hard just to get 15th place back, but that's a good pass for 16th.
Splits the Hyperion drivers indeed, and Scott Flack not quite the best of entries down for Lesmo. Might allow for Latinen to cultivate here. Just a bit stagnant for the time being. Andrzejewski, Micah, Latinen, Flack looking for an opening to try and gain some positions as it stands. But D'Amelio is gently pulling away though. Through Ascari they all go.
Right, you are. Everybody has to stay alert here. We do have definitely the opposition there with D'Amelio still in front. He's trying to pull a second clear just to give himself a little bit of a cushion. But these four competitors from second to fifth are all eager. They all have their different priorities in the championship. Latinen in the third needs to keep the gap modest by the time he reaches Brazil, or else he definitely won't be a championship contender for the Abu Dhabi finish. He is that kind of distance back.
Oh, he's going
now down the inside. Latinen's gonna try his opportunity. Oh, no! They've made contact, but Flack has inadvertently saved the spin. But it's a benefit there and a half, for Pavel Andrzejewski into second, and now Matthews Micah takes third. But that's so unlucky. Scott Flack loses his podium in the end, down to fifth.
It costs Andrzejewski, Micah, Latinen so dearly, though, from that incident. It's 2 seconds between themselves now and D'Amelio. And D'Amelio must be extremely thrilled with that incident down through turn 2, because it's given him such of a good cushion and a good advantage now. But let's have a look for the replay.
Without a doubt, yes. So watching Latinen's on board, he picks the inside as Flack defends the ordinary racing line. He definitely has the car alongside, but then he tries to claim the corner. The left-hander into Variante de Rettifilio, and then the two cars just couldn't agree on what to do next, and that allowed Multiforce to grab a podium. So that means the drivers that finished first, second, and third in race 1 are now first, second, and third in race 2 as well. That's another rare thing that doesn't happen every day here in FS1 competition. But yeah, a perfect swap. It was Micah who won race 1, D'Amelio third, and Andrzejewski stuck in second place again. But there's still a little bit to go. The teammates from Autoforce are going to fight tooth and nail for the 2 points that could swing things to a 15-point lead for Matthews Micah, or a 11-point lead.
You know how we have it's a reverse top 3 as well when you think about it. D'Amelio finished third and now he's leading. He finished first back in race 1. He's third now. Dabrowski trying to put Hyperion back into potential points contention. Bit of a hit onto the back of Raboli from the pole center. And nothing quite drastic yet between those two.
Nothing just yet, but great for the certainly the broken heart for Massimiliano. At least 1 point for picks like that. Not too bad, but of course if his teammate wins, he'll probably feel that should have been myself competing as well. But that's just the way it goes. He'll feel very guilty for the contact that resulted in Raboli losing his traction. But if he takes the win, I'm sure the Pixelite team will have a glowing report card for their championship bid. They're trying their best to finish ideally. I think 8th place is definitely up for grabs here. MS Performance not scoring points in race 2 at the minute, so Pixelite will have a massive swing back in the championship as things currently stand. But Saracino here for Team Shiba, who have been the newcomers of the season, the home team from Italy as well. They want to try and keep things honest with Apex GP in the championship, and Saracino and Chutis have been working very hard, and they have certainly a chance to keep the scores roughly the same between the two teams at the moment. But a big swing here is Flack, of course, is going to be struggling after that contact, and it is a great pass for Saracino.
Cutis Saracino 5th and 6th. Said one of the few Italian teams as well, along with Griffon and Apex GP. In fact, also one of the few to hold the all-Italian lineup of Cutis and Saracino for 5th and 6th. Pretty good for them. Fortunate for Flack, though, from the damage that he has sustained from turn 2. Can't really match with the pace of Latinen and Micah and Andrzejewski, and that's unfortunate considering the great pace that he has showed both in Monza and throughout the second half of the season. Seems to be a form of redemption for the Australian, but can't seem to swing its way in its favour. At least it's a good sign of things to come for the overpowered driver.
Yeah, he has been working. Yeah, that is one of the teams that just has one car today. So it has been a tough slog here to be by yourself at a track like Monza, where the opportunity to battle close with drivers and work together can definitely play its part. So Scott being by himself, that is a difficult job, but he's done it very, very well. It's just so unlucky that he had the lead, but it's fallen a little bit apart for him, but he can still work to try and get positions. And Glam Setter is through on Oliver Taras. That has constructors. Yeah, Taras is really falling back now. So this really does have permutations for our team's championship. And he's in the pits. He's in the pits. This is very. The wing is gone, and he's frustrated. He's crashed into the pit lane in frustration. He's out of the race, and Apex have lost a fair chunk of points. So Taras doesn't get very many points at all this week, this evening. And we're going to see now in this battle with I think that might be Clant, yeah. So no contact, yeah. It's just the runoff has sent his car spiraling, and yeah, that's impossible. The suspension is surely gone on it as well. So horrible incident, but fair pass from Clant, no mistake from him.
Yeah, it's fortunate there from Taras, and imagine from the frustration it's had. I think it might be the second incident that we've sort of seen from him. Can understand the frustration, especially being top 10 pace all the way throughout Monza, and as we said, sometimes the results don't tell the full picture. Taras is definitely amongst one of those drivers here at this case.
Yeah, Menno Clant was probably surprised to check his mirrors and then find nothing in them because of the sudden accident for Oliver. So Clant, very calm and composed evening for him, picking up the bulk of the points here for KKR. As of course, Tylene, if you weren't here in the formation lap, he had issues getting onto the server again. So that means he had to DNF, or DNS I should say, to get to start the race at all. So that means Clant is by himself as well here in race 2. But he's been doing a very splendid job here. And with Flack checking out his lap at 129.7 last time about. He lost 0.2 to Clant most recently, and that may continue to stagnate here for Scott Flack. He's losing 10th after 10th here against the Dutch driver who pulled one of the great moments of the season back in the Nürburgring when I was unable to attend. Van Soest in the slipstream of the Hyperion. Oh, that's Marcus Ericsson style, going from one end of the start finish straight into the barrier. Very painful shunt there. So yeah. He may feel. Yeah, he may feel that was late lunge there. What did you see, Amir? Did you see anything?
That was very late. My word. I don't think Van Soest was trying to try and take evasive action. Just too much of a canny reaction. Although I don't blame Raymond. I think any driver would sort of lose that car in that position, to be honest. Oh my word. But yeah, looking it up in the front now, D'Amelio and Andrzejczyk, what we used to see up in the crash with Flack and Lautinen was 2.3 seconds up to that incident, but Andrzejczyk has been putting the foot down and has now slowly closed it down to 1.4 seconds. The question is though, is it going to be enough?
Needs to gain 3 or 4 tenths a lap to stand a chance. So at the moment it's not enough, but if he can pull out a great lap at this occasion, then he can do it. But he's a slower time in sector 1 here, 30.1 for Luca compared to a 30.3 for Pavel. Micah actually the quickest of all there in the podium battle with a 30.129, so a couple of hundredths better off there for our championship leader. Yassi Latino, he's actually even quicker again into the 29.9, so we can't give Yassi the cold shoulder just yet. He has a chance himself. Sector 2, all pretty much identical in 29.8, so yeah, it's not enough for the lead to be taken off Luca. He has to make a mistake, I think, to change the outcome of the race. And now we're going to watch Menno Clant again, cutting further into Scott Flack's advantage, and it may just be a matter of time.
Good point, Saul. At least Mike Andrzejczyk swap places, so Micah's going to be the one leading the charge to catch up to D'Amelio, as we sort of seen a bit before when the inverse happened. Menno Clant now on the slipstream of Flack. Should be a very quick move down for turn 1. Not much the Australian can really do. He has to hold for the outside line, maybe later on the brakes if he possibly can. Menno has to hold on for the inside line. He doesn't fully commit to it. Funnel's just behind Flack. He's maybe going to try again, but Flack still holds on. Oh, yeah, Zabinski's off. Zabinski's off.
Oh gosh, that's so unlucky. Zabinski out of the race, and he must be thinking, what did I do to deserve this? set of results today. Really, really unlucky. He should have been on for some points in race 1, and then he spun it at the last corner of the last lap. Oh, is it trauma in the parabolica again? It looks to be. So he's taking the ordinary line, but then it completely loses traction at the rear, and he's stranded in the middle of the track, and he decides, yeah, I'm going to bail, so no one is ruined by the stationary car. So I suppose, yeah, you have to do what you got to do, and it kept the other drivers safe. So yeah, that's just the way it is. So unlucky for Matthew Zabinski.
Down to 18 cars, though. It's a lot more retirements than what we've seen previously back on race 1. Mano Quant with the slipstream could make the move down from Parabolica. Scott Fleck is going to give him the inside line. Quant does not commit to it. Funnels in for behind. I think Scott Fleck was trying to hope for higher speed on the outside of the Parabolica to take advantage if Quant was going to commit. He doesn't commit, so that means that Quant will now have the slipstream down through turn 1. Not going to be enough. Don't think there'll be enough speed to go side by side or even commit down to it. But the Dutchman is still going to just keep it behind for the time being.
Yeah, I suppose Clont's strategy will be just save whatever push to pass he's got left. Just observe what Scott is doing on this lap to try and pick up some pointers, and then dump all of that push to pass and go for the pass then, because there'll be no time to react. But here we go, podium permutations now. Lahtinen has been super quick and recent laps. He gained 0.6 of a second on Pavel that last time around. So Micah, indeed, as you say, Amir, he's taken second place. He's going to increase his championship lead to 15 on current showing. And Lahtinen could make it even worse in his own plot to try and somehow get close enough in the championship to make it a three-way battle. But at the moment, it's definitely been Micah's evening, with the win in race 1 and a second place in race 2. But Luca D'Amelio, will we hear the famous melody in just a minute and 30 seconds time? He's so close. He just needs one more lap, Amir, and this place will be set alight in joy.
Absolutely. I mean, again, Pick State hasn't won in such a long time, so it must have felt like a bit of an ages. Come for round 3, I believe, last time they've won. So to come here as winners once again must feel very good for a second win indeed. But also for Multiforce, I think Andrew Zitsky will have the benefit for Mike up ahead. Mike is not going to leave his championship rival behind to miss out on a double Multiforce podium. I think it's been a fairly long time since that has happened, when we've seen both Multiforces onto the podium in both races.
Right, you are. So we're really gaining through the lap now. Should be the final 30 seconds to go in just a moment. It's Yassi's last chance to try and get the pizza pasta special onto the podium. It's really unlikely at this stage. Luca D'Amelio has not dropped much pace whatsoever. It's still hovering in the 1.5 to 1.3 range, which is more than enough. Here's Meadow Clont. As I was saying, this is a great chance now to plot the maneuver, but no, Scott has defended him, and Meadow has to avoid a counter slide moment there, but he's now going to have to settle for the position. But Luca D'Amelio, he's going to bring the amazing feeling to win after his time away from GPVWC. He's back, and he's better than ever. Congratulations, bellissimo Luca D'Amelio.
You'd be very happy to hear that. Mateusz Majka beats for Andrew Zitsky, but at least it makes it the first time ever this season that Multiforce has completed a 1-2 as both the Team Shibas collide in what was a very tense fight for P5, but Dikitas just about beaten Sharatino for 6th. Yes, Latin up for P4. Scott Flack in 7th, Quant 8th, Glabsitter 9th, Gazowski 10th, Kilhausvik 11th, Tudor 12th, Raboli good impressive for himself up into 13th, and Eriksson just about for 14th, and Scarpelli in 15th.
Lovely summary there, Amir. Thank you very much. So the Italian conversion of the points there is really high, with at least 6 there, I think I can count. Italians getting points, and indeed the power was provided by the Pixelite team from England, so I'll be able to sing in pride as well. So congratulations, Luca. You're back, and you've got the win on the return for Pixelite. Matthews, Micah, Doug, and another 2 points in the championship. That could be so important come the end of the season. 17 points and all for him in race 2, with 15 for Pavel on the third step of the podium. Yasser Latinen tried his best for the home team. He got a 4th place. And then the other home team, Team Sheba, have Dechutis 5th and Saracino 6th. Scott Flack, with that perhaps injured car, comes 7th. Menno Klont tried his best to follow my advice there to go for it on the last lap. But at Ascari, it just wasn't possible. Christian Glamsetter, P9, congratulations to him. What a fantastic drive as he replaced Frank Hamming. Matthias Kozowski gets Nexium Pole Team extra points in 10th. So our race winner takes a spot in pit lane. Owen Hauswick adds to the tally for 100 to 1 with Tun Lure. Massimiliano Urboli, the original pole sitter, ending up 13th, so he'll be feeling so sad for himself, but delighted for his teammate, I'm sure, even if he will blame him for the clash at turn 1. Jasper Eriksson does get points for 0-1 Esports, and Domenico Scarpelli rounds it off there for HGP on the double. They're a bit lonely there in 4th in the championship, but KKR didn't get that many points either, so still tight between them. And then Hyperion are perhaps the pity team today. They've had so much bad luck. Dabrowski 16th there, Yannick Pleiss in 17th, Wesley Stefano 18th, and then the unlucky Zabinski out of the race. Can't believe his luck in P19. Raymond Van Sust also in a horrifying incident retired in P20. The other drivers who did not get anywhere close to the finish, unfortunately, Oliver Taras in a huff of great anxiety and rage there, out of the race in 21st. Marcus Christensen crashed out by himself. Patrick Roshak and Michael Falkenhayn, we think, were involved in the big shunt there towards Variante del Roggia, so they're out. Philip Koenig crashed himself, and unfortunately LEF Auto Racing, they're really, really feeling the misery now after some brilliant results at the start of the campaign. It's become a real fight for them to try and not finish bottom of the championship, but Grafone themselves didn't have it all their own way either, Amir. So we've had so much thrills and moments that will certainly warm the heart, but we also have to console those drivers. And indeed, Lucas Tyleen himself didn't even get to race. Those drivers were feeling so upset after their month off. It's the worst possible outcome for some of those drivers too.
Indeed, but at least the good thing is, in terms of a week back, cobwebs are off. Everyone's now back up racing again. And what a great raid to introduce back over to FS1 Race It. Very excited. Both races got a first-time race winner, and a multiple force domination shows that they're definitely in here to continue on through for the remaining courses of the season, and seems to be a proper duel between Micah and Andrzejewski. As we said before, continues on 4th, with Mexico upcoming, traveling over to North America and then following back over to Asia for the final street circuit race on the calendar in Singapore, back over to the Americas in Interlagos in Brazil, and then it all comes down in the grand finale at Abu Dhabi over it back to the Asian continent. But that's us for in Europe. Italy was the last race over in the European continent that we've effectively stayed since back in June. So that means that it's all going to be worldwide here from here on out.
Yeah, the air miles are going to be clocking up dramatically, I'm sure, having to fly from Italy to Mexico, and then you're going all the way over to Singapore just by the equator, not too far away there. Then back over to Sao Paulo, that's another long flight, and then Abu Dhabi in the Middle East. That's an exceptional journey as well. So everybody in their virtual world will be working very hard to prepare their cars and themselves for all that journey, for all those journeys. But yeah, our interview room is filling up nice and quickly now, so we'll definitely have time for chats and summaries of how people are doing. So I suppose we do have Pavel for Multiforce in first. Our second or first race winners aren't here just yet, so we may just pull in Pavel quickly, just have a chat with him. But if Matthias comes along to join him, then we'll have the usual Multiforce joint interview. So let's have a chat with Pavel first. Hi, Pavel, can you hear us?
Hello everyone.
Hello. It's been a long time since I've been around. I took my time off in July and August, but I'm back. And I suppose, Pavel, how have you been feeling? Like you've lost some ground at the championship, but to get double podium, that's not too bad.
Maybe it could be said that I lost ground in the championship to Mateusz, but to be honest, I was more focused on, and our team effort was to regain this team championship lead and this maybe not the lead, but the advantage that we have been carrying on, because this second part of the season was not up to the standard that we would love to have, and this race at Monza has solidified us, and this is what we needed. This is what we wanted. Mateusz overtook me in race 1. It was magnificent overtake. I must admit that whoever tries to catch the award of the best overtake of the season, it's game over. It's basically game over. Don't try it. Mateusz is the best overtaker of this season. He did excellent job down to this second chicane at Monza. To be fair, I was a little bit struggling with tire wear on hard tire. I had too much of a wear on the front left tire, and it was I wasn't feeling quite comfortable on this tire. Fortunately, on the softs, it was much better for me. We got I don't know what to say more. Only mistake I did today was in the second race when Mateusz overtook me 2 laps to the end. I missed the braking point. I lost focus for a brief moment. It was enough to lose this position, but in the end, I don't care if he's 15 points ahead of me, if he's 12 points ahead of me. For me, the goal was to jump away from the others.
Yeah, that's certainly very true, Pavel. That's a great point. It just increases the team championship advantage even more, because Apex had a tough time with Oliver today. He had an unfortunate penalty, and indeed in race 2 he ended up making a big error. But I suppose we can discuss your strategy in race 1 there, because you pitted first to try and get the cut on both your opponents. So was that a decision on the fly, or did you think, I need to do this no matter what happens?
Yes, we have been discussing it during the race with our engineer Jason, with the other guy Mateusz, and we were talking about it since laps something like 8 or 9, what we should do, because if you remember or not, we have the agreement that the guy that is behind pits first, just to cover rough people behind, just to keep this lead, for example, that we would be theoretically driving in first and second position. So the guy behind pits first, because we know that our undercut on this in this season is very strong. On this track, the undercut wasn't that strong. We calculated it like something 0.6 or 0.7 of the second. So it was very close. In the end, we both managed to overtake Luca after we have changed those tires. But it was all agreed between each other, and we did what we wanted to achieve, so we got a 1-2.
Absolutely. And then just my final question, the big talking point in race 2 in terms of the podium battle was the contact between Scott and Yassi that ended up helping both of you guys out in Monteforce gain the podium position. So what did you make of it? Did you see anything that maybe we didn't see?
Sorry for bad language, but I shit my pants so much in this moment. I was so scared of it because I saw that Yase is standing across the track. I saw that Scott will be trying to recover himself, so it was a really stressful moment. What I've seen is that Scott has, with his front axle, he had touched the rear axle of Yase. This is the nature of this chicane, basically. It's very difficult to keep two cars side by side in this chicane. It's only basically possible during the race starts. So I don't know. I would have to look at it once more, and then I will tell you my professional view on that. But to be honest, from what I've seen from the cockpit, it might be both racing incident and the penalty for Scott Flack, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's pretty good memory there, Pavel. Thanks so much. Amir, do you have any questions for Pavel?
Yeah, just a few. Looking over from the team's perspective, this is the first time this season that we've seen both teammates in the team manage to get a podium, both in race 1 and race 2, and no other team has ever came close to that feat until you guys did it. So how does it feel to achieve that accolade?
Really, I didn't know about that. That's even better to hear and to feel that achievement we managed to do. I think that the only thing that is left to make is to win both races by one driver. It was particularly close in this round at Monza, but there are still plenty of rounds to go, and I think that we will try to snatch this last apple.
Indeed. And of course, there's been a lot of talks about yourself being uncertainty about for the rest of the season. But just looking through the broad aspect, at least, how do you feel the team going forward into the remaining few races now, since we're finished with the European aspect of the calendar?
It was my first race since I've moved out to my new home, and today I was racing on Starlink, so you see, you have the answer now. It's working, and I'm still competitive. I didn't get dropped. Everything went smoothly, so to the end of the season.
And you're involved in one of the best battles we've seen in FS1, so your Starlink is working.
Yes. I think I got 1 or 2 stutters, like somebody had moved, like he was lagging. So maybe it was my problem, maybe it was others' problem, because I saw today that server was a little bit under the standard that we are accustomed to have in this league. Like Mateusz was dropping quite sometimes. Oliver had problems with connectivity, so I don't know if it was again the server or just some minor issue with my internet.
Indeed. Well, it's very good news, though, Pavel. Very congratulations on your double podium and fantastic performance.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Farewell, Pavel. Take care. Let's bring in Owen Klahauser next, because he managed to pick up excellent points for 100 to 1 today. So let's have a chat with Owen. Hi, Owen. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Brilliant stuff. So let's talk about qualifying first, because let's be honest, that was one of your best performances ever. So talk us through it if you can.
Yeah, I finally did it, and I finally practiced for it, and I got a result out of it. It's actually crazy. Yeah, I don't really know how to talk through that. I just kind of did it this time. But I'm really happy that I finally got something together.
Absolutely. And I suppose there's plenty of battling to be done in the midfield pack to secure those points in race 1, but you definitely did it. So was there any highlight on your way to those points that you can recall?
Well, it was really fun, race 1, actually getting to battle these guys, like Tyrus at the end as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Really stressful and really sweaty, and I was so exhausted. I had barely any sleep last night, but I pushed through it, and you know, I could have gotten that P11 if I was a little bit better, on the brakes. But that's like one of my weaknesses, I would say, on the brakes. Just I don't consistently have that confidence when battling, and especially this time out, I was having some not brake issues, but a skill issue on the brakes, I guess. But and yeah, for race 2, no one told me the softs were that good to go the whole race. I was on the hards. I think everyone else was on the softs, I heard, but I was just dead set. Like race 2, yeah, it's hards, like every time. Didn't really think much about it, but it went all right. I don't think anything different would have happened. I mean, it made sense though, like the first laps, that it was so difficult and everyone had a go at me and went past me almost. But you know, not a lot happened in race 2, really, not like battling after the first few laps. So it's just kind of like half pushing, trying to stay with the car ahead, and I guess it was Toon behind me. I was kind of scared he was gonna catch. I was hearing from Marcus, like he was going faster than me. So I got a bit scared, but you know, it didn't catch up quick enough. And you know, two races and points in both of them. I'm pretty happy with that from my last race here. So yeah.
Yeah, I suppose just a little bit of luck as well, because I'm just looking at my VOD here, and just behind you, there was chaos between Michael Falkenhayn and one of the Griffones as well. So that was the sort of thing that's good that you had those grid positions anyway, so you could stay away from that sort of thing. And indeed, Patrick Roszak was spun at De La Rogia as well, so you were able to avoid that. So that's a little bit of difference that helped you in the points. I will say it's great that you had that cushion on your hard tires that you could keep away from those other unfortunate moments for drivers. So full compliments to you, Eoin. You did a great job. Very well done. Amir, do you have any questions?
Congratulations on your performance, Eoin. It's we've seen a good run of form, and in fact, it's I think it's been a couple of races in which you haven't actually scored points in both your races, but a good change of form in comparison to what we've seen from the first half of the season, and you seem to be carrying through that momentum for the second half. Do you think you could go all the way and still gather more points for you and your team 100-1?
I would have hoped so, but I'm not racing anymore. The fact that I'm moving out of this house and out of this country, and I'm not taking all that rig equipment with me. It's a bit too much. So I will just try to help the team though, still as a race engineer, if my schedule allows it. It's kind of unfortunate because I've seen this upwards trend throughout the races and throughout the season, like when it comes to performance and just like my confidence. And it's like racecraft, especially, like I feel a lot better battling these guys. It's been a lot of fun learning and just getting better and better and better. But yeah, unfortunately, this is kind of the end for now, and we'll see if I can come back someday in the future or do some races here and there as a reserve if I come back home for a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited to see if I could see what I can do as a race engineer. I said to Marcus like I was gonna try and coach him, but I've done a bad job at that. Like I've just been focusing on myself. But maybe now as just a pure race engineer, I can look at him every lap and just be better as a coach to him. And yeah, if he continues though to race, because he just started his full-time job. He basically got my job that I left, and so we'll see if he has the time though to still continue to race. But hopefully he does, so that I can be with him in his sim racing journey, and you know, improve him instead of me.
Indeed, but the good thing at least is that if it is the end for the rest of the season, you have ended it on a high. It's very, very good that you've actually done it, and don't worry about the driver coaching. It comes naturally over time.
Okay, it's good to hear.
All the best, Eoin. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much, Eoin. And yeah, likewise. You've definitely got some memories to take with you in your driving career. Maybe you could, of course, come back someday, but Austria race 1 last season, of course, that gave the audience a huge pop. They were so delighted for you. And then I'll cherish the Indianapolis race 2. That was one of the best battles of the season, so that was so enjoyable. So we'll miss you in the cockpit, Eoin, but best luck with your move and any other abilities you can help the league with in terms of being a race engineer. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you guys, and shout out to you guys as well. You've been amazing as commentators, because I keep hearing from my dad who's watching, and my parents, like watching the races, and they say like how y'all talk about me and mention me and all of that, and it's been fun going through or watching through the races in the moment. So thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thanks.
Very welcome. All right, take care, Eoin. Thank you so much.
Yeah, see ya.
And just had a private message there with Domenico, and he's wanting to go to bed soon, so we'll let him enjoy the relaxation in there. So we're all out of people to interview, Amir. It's a very quick interview section, I have to say, but yeah, at least I did ask Domenico. It would have been unfair for him to come on when he wasn't in a comfortable position to take an interview, so I'm glad I asked. And we can now have a bit of a summary of the race, Amir. So what did you find from our return from summer break?
Quite hectic. It has been natural after been a very long 4 weeks of no racing action. It kind of makes sense. So they do practice. It has paid off good results for them, but it's been a bit relaxed. But you can see it coming in, the blood rushing in for the second race means that FS1's back. We're going to be continuing on with the rest of the racing action, as we said, into the European continent, and continue on forth to a similar fast-paced track in Mexico. Means that we can sort of see that sort of risky reward driving continue on forth at Hermanos Rodriguez Autodromo. So I'm looking forward to that race, especially with, I believe you'll be beside me as well come that day as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm committed all the way to the October window, to Halloween Eve. Yeah, I've had my time off. Very grateful, of course. Toby as well, he gave me the chance to watch Besiktas. I'm saying I should do the right thing and watch GPVWC, but he said, no, go watch the football. And I appreciate Toby for that as well, convincing me to enjoy my once-in-a-lifetime, hopefully not once in a lifetime, we hope to emulate the other clubs who've qualified for the Conference League this season. Shamrock Rovers and Shelbourne have done it, so great times for League of Ireland. But yourselves, Derry City, maybe you guys should get Conference League football. You better get your act together.
What is this, a footballing channel?
Yeah, a little bit of football to end the day, but it's been a long time since the Mexican GP has been run. I think 2022 was the last one officially, but it goes back to 2017, 2016, and 2011. So I have my records in front of me at last. So this is a new experience for a lot of our drivers. It should be fascinating to see how they get on.
Indeed, and I honestly can't wait for the remaining races on the calendar.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, all the way to October 30th, that's the countdown, but we have the big opportunity for someone new, or else the Multiforce guys can increase the lead even more in the brand new surroundings of Mexico City. But for myself, Eoin Harmon, Amir Oates, and in the broadcast direction, it's Remco Zeeuw. Thank you for tuning in. See you again in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.